to view classified information, but also raising questions about the timing. Just after a published report, the two White House staffers were the source of documents viewed by the Republican committee chairman, Devin Nunes, last week.
That raises profound questions about just what the White House is doing.
White House spokesman Sean Spicer not commenting on the report about sources, but he says what's important is what's in the documents.
Did something happen in the 2016 election? Did leaks occur? We are not going to engage actively in that kind of leaking that has been a problem.
He also rejects calls for an independent committee, saying there's no need with two congressional panels and the FBI investigating. One of the teenage suspects ordered held without bond in a Maryland rape case that's become part of the fuel in the immigration debate. Fox Radio's Gernal Scott with this live.
Lisa, the judge says Jose Montano will remain in jail as prosecutors say texts and videos show intent to commit rape. Now, the judge said the prosecution never mentioned the evidence, but still it did not constitute absolute innocence. Montano's defense says prosecution claims that Montano was seen flashing gang signs are absurd and that further examination of text messages will show that the sex was consensual, damaging the 14-year-old accuser's credibility. But the judge said the defense's evidence came prior to the victims resisting the alleged rape. The other teen accused, Henry Sanchez Milian, is set to have a hearing in mid-April, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. Stocks finish higher. The Dow up 67 points at the closing bell. The NASDAQ hitting a new closing high, 59.14. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Attention, men. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or Cialis, or if you've ordered an over-the-counter product in the last few years, Noxitril is an option that is completely private, has received tremendous reviews, and can be at your door in just days. Pharmaceutical companies dislike us because we present a real option to their higher prices and insurance limitations. After years of research, Noxitril has been developed and formulated in U.S. FDA labs, packed with the highest quality potent ingredients. Noxitril is a true breakthrough in male potency. This remarkable all-natural pill is being called Viagra on steroids and is known as a sure winner. So what are you waiting for? Call now and ask how to get your free supply.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-993-0950. That's 800-993-0950. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-993-0950. 800-993-0950.
Something changes. A new report says government debt and budget deficits will soar over the next 30 years, with federal debt reaching 150% of gross domestic product. Right now, it's 77%. The Congressional Budget Office projection puts most of the blame on the rising cost of Social Security and Medicare, also noting rising interest rates. The report recommends spending cuts and increased revenue. President Trump signs off on more drone strikes in Somalia, targeting al-Qaeda's third largest affiliate. Previously, the U.S. military could only strike there in self-defense.
The al-Shabaab terrorist group is responsible for deadly terrorist attacks in East Africa over the past decade. Last year, al-Shabaab took credit for bombing a Somali airliner using a laptop computer. One of the reasons the Department of Homeland Security banned electronics larger than cell phones from flights to the U.S. from some Muslim nations.
Fox's Lucas Tomlinson at the Pentagon. The top U.S. general for Africa had requested more authority for strikes in Somalia to speed up the process of undoing Obama-era restrictions. A new online toolkit unveiled by Connecticut Governor Dannel Malloy aimed at helping families if parents get deported. Tony Terzi with Fox TV affiliate WTIC in Hartford.
It's called the Family Preparedness Plan, designed to help undocumented parents document who would care for their children if they were deported or detained.
I know that what we're doing right now is not good for public safety and is not good for families.
The governor says there are roughly 22,000 children who are U.S. citizens that live in Connecticut with parents who are undocumented.
The idea that we might have to step in and fulfill a parenting role for even as few as 10% of that population would affect a cost of at least $60 million to the state budget.
The state's plans modeled after one the city of New Haven developed right after Election Day. I'm Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Yep. 5'9", Jeremy.
Yeah.
5 foot and under until I was about 13. Had a big queen bed. 6'5", Brad Warner had a twin.
Oh, he did?
Yeah. And he probably just slept soundly.
We were in the same room together for all that time. And then he decided he wanted his own room, so he moved out.
He's like, I'm tired of getting...
I had the bigger room and the bigger bed. It's his choice.
Take that, Brad.
Just continuing our conversation off here.
Take that, Brad.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Got kind of humid today. Yeah. Thunderstorms. Expect occasional thunderstorms to continue for the next several hours. A low of 42 tonight. It's going to be cold tomorrow. Overcast, high 45, a low of 34. Warms up Saturday, mostly sunny, high 58, low of 39. Nice. Right now, mostly cloudy, 66 in Champaign-Urbana.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Jeremy Werner. I just got a bad look from Harry, because I was letting the intro song go a little longer. I'm trying to get this stinking mic work.
This has been a battle for
it has been
3-4 years.
Yeah. Normally we stand up, but I've been sitting down a lot more lately. I think I'm just finally to that age.
We're getting older. We're getting lazier.
So the mic I don't know. It just doesn't play along with me sometimes, and it ticks me off. All right, this is a cool show today that you've put together. This was all you, obviously, as it normally is, and we've got a lot of different guys we're going to talk to about different things. This is going to be fun.
Every guest has been an Illini beat writer at some point, but only one is a current Illini beat writer.
Isn't that funny?
And we're not going to talk about them all about Illini. No. We have Paul Klee from the Colorado Springs Gazette. His Gonzaga Zags, Bulldogs, are in the Final Four for the first time. He played golf at Gonzaga, is a graduate there.
Okay.
So I'm interested to hear his fan perspective on his Gonzaga Bulldogs. He's on his way to the Final Four.
That's a cool
today.
thing.
So we'll talk to him about that. We'll ask him about the John Gross era being done and maybe some random Denver sports things as well.
I want to know, does this ruin Gonzaga now? Now, hear me out. In other words, for fans,
it's like the Cubs thing.
Well, right, kind of so nobody, everybody that doesn't like Duke, that in other words, like your mom, who's a Duke fan, everybody else they hate Duke.
Yeah,
they just do not like the fact that they win all the time. Gonzaga wins all the time,
right.
But because they've never really done it on a big stage, I think they're still kind of the team that got the people. If you ask them quietly, they're rooting for Gonzaga because they're like, well, I got nothing against Gonzaga. It's all the way out in the West Coast. They don't bug me. They've never really they haven't won a national title. I wonder if them getting to the Final Four ruins it a little bit. In other words, it kind of takes the shine off of, little brother there. I kind of root for them.
Why do people think that, though?
I don't know.
Why do people, I don't know. The Cubs won the World Series. It's not going to be the same anymore. No, it's going to be better.
It's going to be better.
Right? Well, if you're a Gonzaga fan, now you are solidified as a powerhouse.
Absolutely.
Right? This just shows that, hey, we are good enough to go to Final Fours.
No doubt. No doubt.
Even at Gonzaga, we're good enough to get the talent to go to Final Fours.
It was kind of like me as an Arizona Cardinal fan when they finally got to the Super Bowl. I told you, yes, the euphoria behind them playing in a Super Bowl was something I honestly never thought I'd see in my life. But more than anything, I sat there that day at Tampa at Raymond James Stadium, and I'm thinking to myself, you know what? The rest of the world has to respect us now. They have to respect
and
Arizona.
That matters so much to you.
It mattered a ton to me because my entire life people would just make fun of me. I went to Lambeau one time for a Cardinals-Packers game, and I walk in I think it was a Jake Plummer jersey, and all the Packers fans are just laughing at me. They're not mad at me. They're not ready to fight. They're not throwing things at me. They're just oh.
They're somehow better than you.
Right.
Because their team happens to be great. They have some big reason to do with that.
Look at the little Cardinal guy over there. And I'm I know. But when they got to the Super Bowl, it was we finally have accomplished something.
It's fun to see, when my White Sox won in 2005, to see people talking about the White Sox because they never do.
They never do. I agree.
Right? I get that, the stepchild thing, and Illinois fans are feeling that now.
We are.
Right.
There's no doubt about it.
We'll talk with Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, about Brad Underwood keeping this class together. We got a tweet today from Javon Pickett. So that's Javon Pickett and DeMonte Williams in back-to-back days.
Awesome.
Trent Frazier sent out his tweets.
Okay.
Nothing quite yet on Jeremiah Tillman's social media.
Okay.
But every report coming out of this thing
that he's good to go
is that Jamal Walker's here.
Okay.
I keep saying this. Derek Piper said Jamal Walker's here. Jeremiah Tillman will be here. It's not going to stop Mizzou from trying.
Nope.
But, he's been pretty committed to Jamal Walker throughout this process. So.
Well, they used to say if it's on the internet, it's believable. Now the internet has been replaced by if it's on social media.
It's like you have to have that social media. We'll ask Brad Sturdy about that, but we'll also ask him about Mark Smith, who's a popular guy. Michigan State offer yesterday, and then he gets the Kentucky interest. Kentucky's going to come and visit him next Thursday.
Got it.
So he's got some options. We'll ask Brad Sturdy about him and the Illini chances. Yeah, he's been great. And we'll also ask him about the assistant names we've heard. Brad Underwood did add to his staff. There's a couple names that I expect to follow him from Oklahoma State, and we'll talk about that here in a second. But we'll also talk to Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman, at 525. He is covering probably the guy who's having one of the best years in all of sports.
Ever.
And that's Russell Westbrook.
He's unbelievable.
57 points and a triple-double last night. There's a great MVP debate, and it's a fun debate.
Yes.
But I don't think you can go wrong with Russ, James Harden. If you want to throw Kawhi Leonard or LeBron James in there, all those guys deserve it.
Right.
But Russ Westbrook, I believe, is going to get it because of the numbers he's putting up. He's single-handedly carrying that franchise into a 5 seed in the NBA playoffs. So we'll talk to Brett about covering that season. He's covering the NBA. He's covered Anthony Davis. He's covered Final Fours, championship games, but I'm wondering where this Russ Westbrook season ranks for him in covering sports.
I agree, and it will be interesting to be able to watch somebody like him do what he's doing every night on a team that's really average. Honestly, if you took him off that's not a playoff team, right? So, I think
if it is, it's like an 8 seed.
Right. This morning, I think Brad, it was either Twitter or Facebook, sent out a picture of Russell Westbrook signing autographs after the game, and I don't know why, but it hit me in a weird way. I'm like, man, these guys. And I know every sport does it. It's like baseball. That's 162 games. These guys are traveling constantly, but I'm like,
but playing a baseball game compared to playing an NBA game for 40 to 45 minutes a game at the intensity that he does. I mean, nobody plays harder than him.
No, I agree. And that's kind of what hit me. I'm like, just imagine every night that guy, and I know there's days off, right? But every night, it's like, go play a game, play your butt off, and then get onto a plane and travel somewhere else to do it again. I'm like, these guys are superior athletes.
And you got to be a professional.
Yes, you do.
You got to take care of your body.
Yes, you can't just go party all the time.
Yeah.
Amen.
So I think athletes are getting smarter about that. But we'll also ask Brett, because he's in Oklahoma, about the reaction there to Brad Underwood leaving. He's not in deep with the Oklahoma State, but he knows a little bit about what the reaction is there, so we'll ask him about that. But a few things to talk about right off the top here. Joey Biggs is following Brad Underwood to Illinois. He spent the last decade and a half at Oklahoma State, a couple in the marketing department, but the last 10 years, he's basically done the role of the director of basketball operations, which is scheduling, the team travel, all those different things of how they operate. James Herring had that role this past year. Mark Morris had it before there. So behind the scenes guy that basically sets up everything for the team, when they're going to do things, where they're going to do it. Joey Biggs will follow him. He's been with Underwood only 1 year. He's been at Oklahoma State the last decade.
Wow.
He's 41 years old, but he'll be following Underwood. And I expect a couple more of his support staff to follow him as well. Stephen Gentry, who was an assistant with him at Kansas State, or not Kansas State, was an assistant with him at Stephen F. Austin. I expect him to join as director of player development. It's kind of a assistant to the head coaching role. And then Patrick Schulte has been a video coordinator for the last couple years for him. I expect him. So there will be some people from Oklahoma State coming with him as support staffers, guys behind the scenes, not assistants, not recruiters.
When I first heard the news last night, I think it was you that tweeted it, and I just didn't have, in other words, I wasn't focused in on it. I was just kind of in passing looking at it, and I'm like, oh, so he's one of the assistants.
No.
And then I started thinking, oh, hold on a second. And when I read more into that, I'm like, okay, he's going to do what he did at Oklahoma
There's
State.
More than just the assistants behind this thing, right?
Exactly.
Like Nathan Shoehouse, who's in the football department, is not an assistant coach. He can't go out on the road and recruit.
Fair enough.
Now you can talk to the kids when they're on campus.
Yeah.
But there's behind-the-scenes guys that do a lot of the video work, that just get things done so that it makes the jobs of the assistants a little bit easier. So these are guys he's familiar with, guys who help a lot with the X's and O's department. But the assistant roles, there's two obviously available after Jamal Walker was kept on staff. He's probably going to fill this weekend. This weekend at the Final Four, Brad Underwood's there. He got there yesterday. He'll probably meet with some of his top candidates out there. That's what happens. The Final Four, it's assistant coaching carousel. It's nuts. I'm sure John Gross will be out there looking for a job. All these people go out to the Final Four just so they can be around people within their industry, schmooze with people, talk to agents, talk to coaches. It's kind of the big where everybody gets together and talks about this stuff.
You and I have talked about how it'd be fun to be a fly on the wall of like Josh Whitman or the day that he went to visit Brad Underwood or whatever, things like that. John Mazalak, I told you, like the negotiations with Albert Pujols. It'd be cool to have that this weekend and see how that works and how it operates. I mean, a guy that's an assistant, I assume, walks up and shakes Brad Underwood's hand and says, hey, look, I've got some credentials. Here's what I'm doing. And I would assume that Brad Underwood would go out there not like just blind. In other words, he's got an idea of who he's wanting to target.
He's had discussions with people, right? And there are people that are on a short list for him, and he'll probably has those scheduled meetings.
Fair
right?
enough.
It's not just like, oh, this random guy, hey, what are you doing? Maybe you have that, and the guy's interested that you don't know, but more than likely, he's got people he knows. Then they'll meet with him and kind of whittle it down after that.
You don't wake up at like 9 a.m. and go, man, I was drinking beer with that dude, and I think I offered him a job. That would be kind of funny.
I hope that does not happen.
I've got this cocktail napkin here with this dude's name on it. I'm like, uh-oh, did I offer him a job with the Illini?
So by next week, I think we'll have a good idea of what his assistant coaching staff and coaching staff in general will be. There was a tweet last night from Jeff Goodman, I think scared a lot of Illinois State fans, even though those same Illinois State fans might have been thinking, maybe we need a new coach midway through last year. Goodman had reported that Illinois State coach Dan Mueller was a serious candidate at Dayton, but Redbirds fans, you can breathe.
Yes, you can.
Dayton hired Anthony Grant. Familiar name, as he was the former coach at VCU and Alabama. So Anthony Grant will be the next Dayton coach. Seems like a pretty good hire.
I agree.
Failed at Alabama, obviously, but that was a hot coaching name when he was there. I mean, Illinois, reportedly, there was some interest there, but John Gross ended up the coach, and that's another destination for John Gross off the map as well, because Dayton reportedly had interest in him. Miami, he interviewed for that Miami, Ohio job. Akron is open, but you wonder if it's more likely going to be an assistant role for John Gross. And the job that makes a lot of sense to me is Indiana.
Right. It does.
Because Archie Miller and him were assistants under Thad Matta. Maybe Thad brings him back, but if I'm John Gross, that Indiana assistant job would be pretty dang good.
That'd be big. He's from Indiana, so obviously that would be one that he'd be back in his home state. I think that would be, and it's funny with Illinois State. I know this is something fans are going to have to get used to every year with a guy like Dan Mueller, who is a really good coach. And I even had that thought this year when we were getting close to, are they going to make the tournament or not? I thought, is this a good year for Dan to make the league?
Yeah.
In other words, if they make it to the tournament, I mean, his name is about as hot as you can get with regards to that. Is this the time that he makes the leap? And for Illinois State fans, you sit there and you panic every year. I mean, only so much can you say, well, he played here.
Chris Monticello tweeted at me, he goes, Dan is not going to retire at Illinois State.
No, not at all.
And that's correct.
See, Barry Henson will.
Unless Illinois State becomes Wichita State.
Right.
Which I don't see happening.
No.
Right?
No, not being able to fund that much.
And that's the other thing. Dan loves his alma mater.
Sure.
Obviously.
Sure.
But there's a ceiling there, most likely, especially in that conference.
Yep.
With Wichita State about to leave. And yes, you can win that conference.
Right.
But you still got to probably win the tournament just to get into the NCAA tournament.
That's the issue.
So for him, he's sitting there. I don't blame him if he had interest in Dayton.
No,
it's a better job.
Not at all. And if he could leave that program better than what he found it, which he will, I assume, then for him, I think he would walk away head high saying, look, I came back to my alma mater. I did some good things. This program's in good shape. It was fun. I'm sure for him, it's all about making money and bettering yourself, but I'm sure there's a little bit of him saying, this is fun, man. I'm coaching right where I played and took this program to an NCAA tournament. And with him as a player taking them to the tournament, it would have been a cool story, or it will be a cool story when it comes full circle. And he can not only take him as a player the last time that happened, to then take him as a coach, and then he can move on. So, but I hope he doesn't move on for a while either, because I enjoy talking to Dan.
Yeah.
He's a fun guy to visit with, and I know he makes that Missouri Valley better. And as Wichita State, I'm sure they're going to leave, then that starts to worry me. And you want guys like Dan Mueller in your conference because they make your teams and they make your conference better.
One final item before we get to a break, and Paul Klee. Ed Morrow is transferring out of Nebraska. This was shocking for a lot of people. And Tim Miles was going to be in the hot seat regardless.
Huge.
Losing a guy who averaged 9.4 points, 7.5 rebounds as a sophomore, he was going to get better. He's just a winner.
Yes, he is.
But Morrow realizes, he can't win there.
No.
Right?
Yep.
And if I'm Tim Miles, you know what I'm terrified? That Glenn Watson is going to have the same realization.
There's no doubt.
And if you was Glenn Watson and Ed Morrow, Nebraska's going to be the worst team in the Big Ten.
Yes. Worse than Rutgers.
And Tim Miles, and if that happens, if Glenn Watson leaves, which I think can happen, if Glenn Watson leaves, then if you're Nebraska, do you make the change now?
Yeah. You get rid of Miles.
Because what good's going to happen next year?
Nothing.
There's just not enough talent. That roster is not good enough.
It will be interesting to see how this develops. And you saw what Nebraska was with him and without him.
1-7 without him.
I mean, when he got hurt, that changed their entire season. Even back then, you and I had discussions about, well, how good is Nebraska? I mean, they're not bad.
And they started 3-0.
They started 3-0.
Yeah, and I just didn't buy it.
No, and that's true. But, boy, you could definitely see the fall off with Morrow. Yeah. And I love that guy because he rebounds. And I know every Illinois fan out there, Jeremy, right now is saying, would he transfer here? He's from the state of Illinois.
I like Ed Morrow.
I do too.
So if Brad Underwood wanted to add him, I think it makes sense because Ed Morrow can board.
Yes, he can.
And he plays hard and physical. He's undersized. But John Gross didn't think he needed two of them.
Right.
Him and Laurent Black.
Yeah.
I'll take two of those guys on my team, and they can play 40 minutes together.
Any day.
Right? You've combined them, they got 40 minutes out of that, and you got an elite rebounder. I don't know if he'll have interest in him. I don't know if you want to go too far the transfer route. And plus, in the Big Ten, I don't know if he'll be cleared to transfer within the Big Ten. So if I'm Illinois State, I'm all over it.
Yes.
If he wants to come in to Illinois State, that would be something great. But he's a Power 5 or high major player, I should say. So there'll be a lot of schools interested in him. And if Glenn Watson transfers, boy, he's going to be one of the top transfers.
That'd be
on the
tough.
market.
And in case you're interested, if he does transfer like to an Illinois, he'd have to sit out a year.
Yeah.
And then you mentioned about maybe not being able to do it in the Big Ten. I think that's Nebraska's call.
Yes.
They can actually put a certain...
Like Mark Donnell.
That's right.
Is a graduate transfer in Michigan. Michigan just let him go.
Okay.
They said, yeah, you can transfer anywhere. They did the same thing with Spike Albrecht and Max Bielfeldt.
Good call. So, but a team can actually say, you can transfer, but here's a list of schools you can't go to, and a lot of them, they do, the Big Ten.
What do you think of that?
Well, it happened right with the kid that went to Iowa.
Jared Utoff.
And
he decided, fine, I'll walk on.
Exactly.
He still had to sit out a year, but he walked on.
But he walked on. You know,
now most kids can't afford that.
Right.
But Jared Utoff was like, screw you, Bo Ryan.
I'm going to walk on here and I'm going to play.
Yeah, and then I'll play.
That's exactly
right. He got a
right.
scholarship, so
it's hard. And I know that opens up a can of worms with regards to bringing up that topic, because then you could have a lot of people on the one side that say, well, look, coaches can leave whenever they want. Yep. The players can't. So I think that would be a topic not to discuss here in the next minute.
No, I know.
But certainly, I mean, I don't think it's bad to have parameters there with regards to, all right, if you're leaving my school, I don't want you playing for Iowa, in other words, and beating me.
I just think that if a coach leaves, then the players should not be penalized by transferring.
And that would be different.
Right? So if a coach leaves, the player can transfer wherever they want without penalty.
Yep.
Right?
I'm with you.
If you want to penalize them and be able to put restrictions on them, then allow them to have freedom when the coach leaves.
Yes.
Like, that's not their fault.
Nope. I totally agree with that. I would be 100% on board with that.
All right, when we come back, we'll talk with Paul Klee, Colorado Springs Gazette, about his Gonzaga Bulldogs making the Final Four. We'll also ask him about the John Gross era being over, and maybe hit on some Denver sports topics as well. We got Brad Sturdy, 445 from orangeandbluenews.com. Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman, to talk about Russell Westbrook and Brad Underwood at 525. And did we tell the Mettler Center that we're going to talk about your calf?
We did not.
I thought we maybe send them something?
Yeah, maybe we should.
Or we can tell Jeff when we first get him on the line.
Yeah, we'll just say, hey, we're going to change it up a little.
I think your calf strain is more interesting than Addison Russell's sore back, because he's already back.
You know why? Because a lot of people out there in my spot, they're old like me. They've started to work out, and all of a sudden something aches. And for me, it's my calf. And, man, I can't even hardly walk. It hurts so bad.
And, Lon, you and I got to make a trade between the White Sox and Cardinals at some point today.
I actually texted Claves today and said, what would you give up for Jose Quintana?
Matt Adams.
You know what? The only thing he sent back was, what do they need? I'm like, well, I mean, they need catchers. They need this. Then he goes, well, what do they need? I'm like, well, I think I just told you that. And he never sent me another reply text. So I guess Claves isn't interested
I threw
in
that
deal.
on our Facebook page.
Yep.
And
I can't imagine.
The initial suggestions, like, I think people were inspired by Stevie J.
Is Pete Cosma still?
It was like Lance Lynn, Matt Adams,
of course,
and
which
like
I think would actually make sense.
Jed
in a trade.
Jerko,
of course. Like Jose Quintana is just nothing.
Yeah.
Like he's
it's like your garbage guys who are expensive.
I thought of a trade for you.
Okay.
I thought of a trade, and I think you would be realistic with. I think it'd be a trade for you, and I would have reasons as to why I'm getting rid of some of these Cardinals.
There's one guy that has to be in the deal.
Okay, I think I know who that is.
If you want to weigh in, you can text us on the Cheap Hour text line at 359-2255. We'll open up the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line later. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. I tweet at J Warner Scout.
At Lonte, ESPN. See you.
Download the WSJK app. Get our podcast at ESPNCU.com or find us on iTunes. That's all powered by GTPS Insurance. Our intern's about to rush in here to get some shots up.
Yes, they are.
We got 4 today. Tyler Knight, Harry Black, Jack Long, and Daniel King.
Somebody just said, Lon, check your potassium. I have no idea how I check my potassium.
Just eat a banana.
That's what I do. I eat bananas once in a while, so I think it's not that. I think I'm just an athlete that overdid it.
I think you need to stretch.
That was a drastic
pause.
Silence for that.
I
So everybody can laugh about it. It is the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
Yesterday, we had a pretty good discussion. Sal Palantonio came on, and he mentioned that he had been hearing from a lot of people with the pending move of the Raiders to Las Vegas, some of the concerns that will come up as a consequence of the league having a team in Las Vegas. And they're really, it could break down into 2 buckets. Maybe there are more.
At some point, you have to learn to become a professional. If you don't learn to become a professional and you give in to the temptations that are there, then you won't be a professional very long. At some point, you got to put it on the professional, the player, the athlete. There will be those that will fall prey to it, but I was a little surprised. I'm not going to lie, and maybe because it's new, it's going to be the first time there, I was a little bit surprised at the, oh my God, it's the Tower of Babel all of a sudden in Vegas if an NFL team goes there.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio. It's Spring Black Friday at the Home Depot. And right now, you can save up to 35% on appliances, like the Whirlpool stainless steel French door refrigerator. With its AccuChill temperature management system and full-width pantry, it keeps food at the correct temperature. And during Spring Black Friday, it's a special buy at just $998. Over $700 in savings. Nobody beats our prices. Guaranteed. Only at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing. U.S. only while supplies last. See store for details. Valid through April 12th.
You know, Alex, sometimes it helps to have an expert opinion.
Like for sports analysis, you want to listen to a guy who actually played professional sports.
Or a respected sports journalist.
Sure, if we're talking $500 haircuts, I think you'd have a lot to say.
It was $400.
But if you're looking for a great set of tires...
Trust Goodyear. From fire trucks to race cars, Goodyear tires offer superior performance and handling.
And everything they learn making tires for expert drivers inspires what they roll into yours. Go to Goodyear.com to find the right tire and store for you.
Goodyear, more driven.
Oh, hey, hi, hello there. It's me, your air conditioner. You can call me AC if you want, but Mr. Conditioner is my dad's name. Okay, listen, you may have noticed that I'm using a lot of energy right now, and that's why you need to call an expert. Yep, the experts can give me a precision tune-up, so you'll save up to 30% on energy bills, and I won't have to work so hard, which is great because I'm about to pass out.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save $41 off an AC Precision Tune-Up. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
This just in, Wendy's is adding the quarter-pound double stack as an option in the 4 for $4 for a limited time. With so much beef, that's a deal so good it should not exist. In related news, because their wings are too small for their bodies, bumblebees should not be able to fly. Here to comment, bees.
Wait, we're not supposed to fly?
Kinda like how a quarter pound of beef should not be in the 4 for $4.
Yet it is. That's over a quarter pound of fresh beef with 4 nuggets, fries, and a Coke, all for just $4. Any other bee puns?
No, we're good, honey.
At participating Wendy's for a limited time. Meal includes 4-piece nuggets, small fries, and drink. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada. Not valid in Alaska and Hawaii.
Welcome to Staples.
Staples guy, I just got to town and I need a presentation printed for a big meeting tomorrow.
Well, Staples has everything you need to print, scan, and fax.
Great. Oh, just got a text. The home office made changes to the presentation.
No problem. You can access your files from a USB, email, or the cloud.
And the meeting isn't tomorrow, now it's today.
Our machines are self-service, so there's no waiting.
And it's not here. Now it's in Ebensburg.
I hear it's lovely this time of year.
Print, scan, fax, and copy at Staples. Your office away from home.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Live the Champagne life in Campustown. Twice a year, the doors to Memorial Stadium open for the most dedicated, loyal, and thrifty Illini fans. Full of team-issued and team-worn apparel. With tons of Fighting Illini deals and steals, this is a stadium sale you can't miss. Stop by Memorial Stadium April 1st between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. to get your gear before it's gone. Everything up to 80% off. Last chance. Once it's gone, it's gone. Game Day Spirit is a proud member of the Champagne Center Partnership.
When you live the champagne life.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9, here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
3:30, I'm Jeremy Warner with your SportsCenter update, brought to you by First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. It looks as if new Illinois basketball coach Brad Underwood will keep together the Illini's top 10 recruiting class. Belleville East guard Javon Pickett reaffirmed his commitment today with a tweet, just like four-star Peoria Manual guard DeMonte Williams did yesterday.
Nice.
Last week, top 100-point guard Trent Frazier tweeted out he will remain with the Illini. Five-star center Jeremiah Tillman hasn't sent out any reaffirmation on social media, but he is expected to stay with Illinois. Underwood hopes to add to his class, but top target Mark Smith continues to receive more interest. Michigan State offered last week. Kentucky will visit him on Thursday next week. Joey Biggs announced last night that he will follow Brad Underwood to Illinois as a support staffer. He spent the previous 10 years as the director of basketball operations at Oklahoma State. Nebraska ball took a big hit last night with forward Ed Morrow announcing he will transfer. The Chicago Simeon product averaged 9.4 points, 7.5 rebounds. Sophomore will have to sit out next year with 2 years of eligibility remaining. Cornhuskers went 1-7 when Morrow was out with injury last year. Former Illini coach John Gross and Illinois State coach Dan Mueller reportedly were candidates for the Dayton job, but the Flyer announced today they've hired former VCU and Alabama coach Anthony Grant to replace Archie Miller. Illinois volleyball coach Chris Thomas got his first commitment last night, and it's a big one. Class of 2019 middle blocker Ellie Holzman committed to the Illini. Max Preps named her the National Sophomore Volleyball Player of the Year.
Wow.
Trevor Rosenthal will start the season on the 10-day disabled list with lat soreness. And John Heyman of FanRag Sports reports the Cardinals have quietly shown interest in White Sox starter Jose Quintana, and that they are a sleeper to land him.
Okay.
I put the odds at this at 50-1.
Yes. Yeah, I don't think anything's happening, but you and I have a trade. I think we're going to try to work.
It's fun to talk about.
So old Rosie's hurt already, huh? Baseball season. Where have you been? You're back this weekend. Welcome. It is the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner. When we were going through our list of guests, and you mentioned Paul Klee, and you mentioned we may talk some Denver stuff. Do they still have an NBA team? I mean, is it still the Nuggets?
Their playoff team, I believe.
Are they really?
Yeah.
All right, that's... You know me, I'm fringe NBA.
Should we play Name That Nugget? How many nuggets you can name?
No, we should not.
Emmanuel Mudiay.
Don't know him. No, I've heard that
Played
name.
at SMU.
See, most of the guys I think I would hear their... like, if I heard their name, I know I would know them. But
Gary Harris.
From Michigan?
Yeah, Michigan State.
Michigan State, I'm sorry.
Nikola Jokic is really good.
Yes, okay, I've heard
You should
that.
know him.
I do know the Jokic name. All right, well, so Nuggets are still there. Paul's still covering that team, but he's got another team that is in big in his heart right now, and it's a team that's going to be playing this weekend as well, and that's Gonzaga, and we are welcoming in on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line from the Colorado Springs Gazette, Mr. Paul Klee. How are you, Paul?
What's up, fellas? How are you guys doing? This is a pleasure.
Yeah.
Your Zags are heading to the Final Four, Paul. What's this mean for you as a fan and for this program?
Oh, boy. How long do you have?
Take as long as you want.
We got a couple hours. We could do I'm going to get on a flight here down to Phoenix in about a half hour, so we could just talk the whole time. They have awesome. All kinds of technology.
There you go.
Yeah. This is a big time. This is a big time for us Zags. I'll make it short because I know there's probably not too many people there that want to hear about it. But I was a college freshman, really young and dumb, the first year that Gonzaga won a tournament game, and that was in 1999. They had never won a tournament game before. Wow. And now I think they've won 27 or 28.
Was that Dan DeCow?
That was Blake's.
Okay.
That was Matt Sanchangelo, Quentin Hall, Casey Calvary, Mark out of Eaton. Yeah, we had some guys. We had some good guys. They went to an Elite Eight that year. I sat behind Jim Calhoun against UConn, and I learned an entirely new vocabulary over the course of that game. But since then, they haven't cooled off, and it's been a hell of a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, Paul, I mean, there have been some great players. We went through it yesterday. I mean, Ronnie Turieff, Robert Sacre was a nice player. We watched Elias Harris for 4 years play against Illinois. And then, of course, Dan DeCow and Adam Morrison. But why is this the team that got to the Final Four when all those other talented teams didn't?
Oh, they got lucky. That's what happened. They got the draw broke well.
Right.
They won enough games to get a high seed. The more and more I cover the tournament and watch the tournament, I'm just convinced it's 50% players and 50% dumb luck. I really think it is. I thought about Christmas, back in November, I started talking to some guys up there in the coaching staff, and they said, we got a chance to be pretty good. I don't know how good, but we might be pretty good. And then they smack Arizona, they smack Iowa State, they beat everybody, they beat Florida, they beat everybody in their path. They really guard. It's one of the best defensive teams I've seen in 25 years. And this Gonzaga team is a ferocious defensive team. But I think it's luck, guys. I really do. I think you have to get a lot of breaks, and you have to stay very healthy. You have to get good matchups, which we've had. I still think this is probably the second or third or fourth best team that we've had. I think we've had better teams. But they've gotten a good draw, and they've got really good players right now, and it's all about players. So when somebody asks me how did Gonzaga do it, I always say it's players, but it's big guys. Yeah. They've had really good big men. They've had NBA big men for 18 years now, and that makes a huge difference.
And Mark Few seems to recruit a lot different than everybody else, chasing these kids across the country. I mean, how does he pull this off?
Yeah, well, he doesn't stop at the country border. He goes across the border. I think we have 7 countries represented on our roster right now. There's a giant Polish mountain in the middle, Szymek Karnowski. There's a kid from Japan who I believe is the first Japanese player to ever score in an NCAA tournament. I think I'm right about that. They've got a kid from Denmark who's redshirting. He's 7'1" and close to 300 pounds. He hasn't played yet. They got a kid from France, Killian Tilly, who's going to play in the NBA probably in 2 years. And so they get them from all over the place, and they've done that since about 2001. What happened was Gonzaga played Tom Izzo and Michigan State in the tournament in, I think, 2001. Gonzaga had a really good team. It was in the Sweet 16, and Sparty just kicked their backside. They had all these big guys that we didn't have. So they reversed course on what they're going to try and recruit, and they started to recruit these huge bodies, and that's really benefited us very well, is getting some of these giant foreign players that, a lot of them go on to play in the NBA, and that's a good thing.
It's interesting that more teams don't follow this script. More coaches don't follow the script. Do you think it's just they don't want to take the time to get to know the international flavor, or do you just don't think that you think it's just harder than we think, and just Mark Few's really good at it?
That's a great question. It's actually not Mark. Mark is not involved with that side. It's a guy named Tommy Lloyd, who was my intramural softball coach.
Oh, by the way.
And I played center. I covered a lot of ground. I modeled my game at the time after Andrew Jones. But Tommy stuck around, and he's the chief recruiter. He had a lot of connections overseas from when he played overseas, and he just continued to kind of cultivate those relationships. And it's not different from recruiting Seattle or Chicago or New York. Once you get a pipeline, it's kind of yours to lose.
Right.
So when they brought over Roney, who had a long and very lucrative NBA career, then you start to dig in with, the kid from France, and he is really good. And he's barely played this year, but he's really good. And then you get a kid from Denmark, and then you get a kid from Germany, and you start to kind of have these relationships over there. And nobody else in college basketball has gone as deep as they have into Europe. It pays off. So Mark is not involved with that. a lot until he gets him on campus, and then he kind of closes the deal.
Perfect.
Who is Paul Klee's favorite Zag of all time?
Ooh.
Like who do you identify with the most, Paul?
Sabonis.
Oh my gosh, yeah, he was awfully good. He came through here last year in the tournament and just whipped Utah in Seton Hall. My favorite would be a guy that nobody's heard of, but we lived together and we drank a lot of bad beer together. And his name is Mark Spink, and Spink was on that Elite Eight team in '99.
Old
He's a giant
Spinky.
beanpole. Yeah, he's like 6'9" and 120 pounds, and he just dunked on people and didn't care. But Mark Spink is the greatest Zag of all time, the GOAT.
I bet he never knew he was going to be on the Tay and J Show.
He'll appreciate that name drop.
Absolutely.
Right.
Paul Klee is our guest, the Colorado Springs Gazette. Well, Gonzaga will be facing up with South Carolina, 7 seed. Frank Martin's got that team rolling right now. What do you think of the matchup, and then possibly a title game on the other side? What do you think going forward?
Oh, guys, I don't like this matchup.
Okay.
I don't like it at all. I don't want to deal with those guys. I don't want to deal with Frank Martin. I want to get to Monday. So if we can skip Saturday, that'd be great.
Right.
I have a theory on this Final Four. I watched a boatload of college basketball this year. I think I watched every single Illinois game on TV.
Oh,
and
sorry about that, Paul.
Along with that, that's all right. I loved it. And I watched a ton of the Ducks. I got Oregon coming out the other side. And part of me wants Carolina to win just because it feels a little bit better if you beat Carolina. But I do think Oregon's going to beat those guys. I think they're red hot right now. But I think whoever comes out of the South Carolina-Gonzaga game wins the whole thing. And this is a reverse course. I've always felt like defense would get you to the Final Four, and then the team with the most offensive firepower will win the Final Four. I think this Gonzaga team is so good on the defensive end. I don't see anybody in Phoenix beating them. Now, I did feel the same way about Illinois in 2005. I thought Illinois was the best team in the country for 5 months, and they found a bad matchup in the final. Gonzaga has been the best team in the country for 5 months. Carolina is a terrible matchup for Gonzaga. I thought at the beginning of the tournament, it's the one team that could beat them. So I'm really hoping the Ducks pull it off on Saturday. But I got the Zags winning both games.
Nice. Well, you mentioned it, Paul. You watched all the games, and it's no surprise that John Gross is gone after 5 seasons with the Illini, and Josh Whitman goes and steals Oklahoma State's coach because their AD doesn't want to pay up for a good coach.
Right.
What'd you make of the change from John Gross to Brad Underwood?
Well, I'm hopeful. I'm really optimistic. Some of the guys I'm going to see tonight are the guys at Kansas State and the guys at Purdue, and they follow all those programs very closely, of course, and they have a very high opinion of Brad Underwood. Brad Underwood is a good coach. I don't worry about him. I'm not worried about Brad Underwood. I'm worried about people there giving him enough time to build something that will last, because it is going to take time. And that's my hope, because he's a good coach. He's going to win. He's going to do well. They're going to have to be really patient, because if you want something that's going to last, you got to give it some time and get some players in there. So I liked it. I thought it was theft. I thought they pilfered Brad Underwood from Oklahoma State. Really good hire.
What can he learn from Weber and Gross about getting those players, Paul?
Oh, again, can we just continue this for the next couple hours? The blueprint is in Ann Arbor.
Yep.
You want to do exactly what John Beilein has done.
That's what I said, Paul. I said I hope they got their John Beilein.
Right.
He made Detroit come to them. He went and got the kid Morris, the point guard out of Southern California, I believe. Then he went and got Trey Burke out of Ohio. He looked elsewhere, and he didn't cater to Detroit. Illinois should stop worrying about Chicago. Chicago is the problem more than it's the solution. Go get your guys elsewhere, build it up, and then make them come to you. They waste way too much time in Chicago. There's some good players up there. Let me tell you the best attribute of this hire so far. Chicago talent is down. That's a good thing for Brad Underwood.
Right.
Go elsewhere and look elsewhere. Do not hire your staff based on what's going to get you in the door at Simeon. Go get guys that you can work with, that you trust, and build a program that's going to last. It's what John Beeline's done. I remember year 3, maybe year 2, year 3, year 4, Michigan fans were ready to rush him out the door with flames and pitchforks. Well, now they have one of the best coaches in America. So that's my hope for Brett Underwood.
Wonderfully said. I agree 100%. Paul Klee, the Colorado Springs Gazette. Let's talk some football now. How about that? Tony Romo played his ball here at Eastern Illinois. Is he going to Denver? Is he going to be in a Broncos uniform or what?
Oh, Romo. I think I hear that name in my sleep these days. The people in Colorado, you could have the Buffs and the Avs and the Stanley Cup and the Rockies in the World Series, and they'd want to know where Tony Romo's going. I did some background on him. His recruitment is so interesting to me. I think the News Gazette did an awesome story on it a while back, but he had no Division I offers. I think Colorado was the only one that was really looking at him. I thought that was weird. Rick Neuheisel back in the day. But I do think he's going to be in Denver. And I think the Broncos are posturing right now saying they're happy with their 2 quarterbacks. They can't be happy with their 2 quarterbacks. They have everything else except the quarterback. Yeah. So I do think that Tony Romo, it'll come down to the Texans and the Broncos, but it's been John Elway's MO to go find that guy. He did it with Peyton Manning and DeMarcus Ware and Aqib Talib, and I think he's probably going to do that again.
Paul, before we let you go, I want to ask you about the Rockies out there too.
Yes,
I love that. I love that offense. They need to get healthy, but I think if they just had a pitcher that pitches on the south side of Chicago, it'd give them a lot better chance. So
I see where this is going.
I've always thought like the Rockies, like they feel like they're in position where they are close to winning. They just need a pitcher who can keep the ball in the ballpark there. And Jose Quintana makes a lot of sense for some of those nice prospects you got over there.
That's the key, you said, is keeping it in Coors Field, which nobody's been able to do in almost 20 years, over 20 years. But yeah, that'd be nice. They're down. They're down 2 starters that was expected to be in the rotation. They got 3 good ones right at the front. But there's some optimism around here. I think it's guarded optimism because they've been through this before. The Rockies have been really bad for a really long time. The lineup is a launching pad of a lineup. Trevor Story, DJ LeMahieu, Nolan Arenado. They just got guys up and down. They won't have trouble scoring runs, but they can't keep up with the Cubs. That's a whole different machine.
Without a doubt. Paul Klee, we have talked you now to within 15 minutes of your board time for Phoenix in the Final Four, buddy. Good luck with Gonzaga. I'll be thinking about you this weekend, my friend.
Have fun, Paul.
Right on. Thanks for having me on, guys. I look forward to talking to you after they win this thing.
Right, there you go. We'll take it. Thanks, buddy.
That's
Paul
cool.
Klee, former News Gazette writer, covered the Fighting Illini. He was here, right, when they...
Yeah. And we talked with Robert Smith. He got here 2 years after the Final Four.
Okay, that's what I was... Yeah.
Brett Dawson covered that Final Four.
That's right.
Paul Klee was the problem. Just like I'm the problem.
I don't think there's any doubt.
Ever since I've gotten here, it's been pretty terrible.
Yeah,
my first year covering Illinois basketball was 07-08, 16-19.
Ooh. Jeremy, I've never thought. Have we ever discussed that?
They've made, 3 NCAA tournaments.
Have we ever really discussed this? Have you kind of kept that quiet?
No.
Hoping that nobody would notice?
I throw it out there all the time.
I mean, it's not me. I didn't do anything different.
But, we had Robert Smith on earlier. And,
right.
And that's what
I like
keep
that
saying.
Interview, by the way. I was able to hear that.
What I keep saying is win.
Yeah.
You win, and it doesn't matter where the player. Like, go find players. There are plenty of players outside of Chicago, and Paul's right. It is down up there right now.
It is,
which is a good thing because downstate is producing a lot of talent. You got Adam Miller, E.J. Liddell coming up as well,
and you took advantage.
Yeah, and you got to, and Mark Smith would be a big addition to that. But you can go find players elsewhere,
no doubt.
Bill Self and Billy Gillespie found players in Texas.
Yeah.
Right, you can. I mean, John Gross's best recruits are not from Illinois.
No, they're not.
And he landed some good Chicago kids. Mm-hmm. With DJ Williams was a top recruit, and Kendrick Nunn was a top recruit. But they're going to miss on some kids out of Chicago. But that's not. You can find players elsewhere.
Absolutely.
And then if you start winning like Michigan is, all these players will come to you.
Well, you look at next year. You got JCL out of Indiana. You got LaRon out of Tennessee. You got, of course, Michael Finke right here in town.
Tijon Lucas out of Milwaukee.
Tijon out of Milwaukee. So
Kipper out of Ohio.
That's right. So obviously, you didn't win at a high level yet with those guys, but I know what you're saying, and I kind of agree with Paul. Let them come to you.
I mean, how many top kids out of Chicago since that 80s era? I mean, go back to the 50s and 60s and 70s.
Not many.
Eddie Johnson was like the first.
Right.
And then all of a sudden you did really well with that in the 80s, but you couldn't keep it up into the 90s and 2000s, even with really good coaches.
You couldn't. Hey, you brought up an interesting thing there with Jose Quintana. Yeah. And I know we've got the Mettler Center injury report that we're going to do next. But it's interesting to think back to some of the pitchers the Rockies have had. We may have to look through some of this as we go along.
We should go through the wins leaders of the Colorado Rockies.
Mike Hampton.
That sounds like a list, Lon.
I think we've come up with a list that we'll do after the injury report, which we'll do next. It is the Tay and J Show.
Experience the credit union difference. It's people helping people. Our goal is to serve all of our members well, including those of modest means. Our members are fiercely loyal for this reason. They know their credit union will be there for them in bad times as well as good. Experience the credit union difference with the U of I Community Credit Union. Visit one of our branches today or visit us at uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
From keeping your money safe and secure to helping achieve your financial dreams, the U of I Community Credit Union brings a fighting spirit to the financial wellness of this entire community. Experience the credit union difference. People helping people. And we're helping even more in 2017 with our brand new Member Advice Center. Get free online articles and blogs on a variety of topics related to your financial well-being. Go to uoficreditunion.org.
Some of us came to Urbana to get an education, and we discovered our lives here. Some of us were born and raised in this community and found our livelihood. Urbana is home. We love what it offers: wonderful schools, beautiful parks, and welcoming neighborhoods. But Urbana is facing some challenges. We're lagging in growth. Some neighborhoods are plagued by crime and rental properties that are crumbling. And city government hasn't had professional administration in 10 years. That's why I'm excited to vote for Diane Marlin for mayor. Diane will make Urbana a better place to learn, live, work, and raise a family.
I'm positively for Urbana. I'm for more effective, responsive, and inclusive city government. I'm for careful planning and smart growth. Our greatest strength lies in the people who care about our community: neighbors, city employees, business owners, and students. Everyone must work together to move Urbana forward. I'm Diane Marlin, and I would be honored to have your vote for mayor April 4th.
Vote Diane Marlin for mayor of Urbana, April 4th. Paid for by Citizens for Marlin.
Landscaping is continuing their 25th anniversary celebration by giving away a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. When you do, you'll be registered to win a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes just in time for the Final Four. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
We're getting right into it.
He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. 'Cause we love to go through lists. Just to mess with the law.
Yeah, baby. And I even brought this upon myself today.
Colorado Rockies wins leaders.
Okay, let me...
career wins leaders.
Here's what's coming to my head. A lot of left-handers.
Okay.
So I've got Mike Hampton.
Mike Hampton, I don't see very high on this list.
No?
21st.
Oh, wow.
He was 21 and 28 with the Rockies. And 21 wins is 21st all time for the Rockies.
Wow.
Yes.
Denny Nagel. Was he there?
Denny Nagel. That's a good name. He's 26 on the list.
Wow.
He has 19 wins.
How about Jeff Francis?
That's a great name, Lon. Third.
Okay.
64 and 62, a winning record as a Colorado Rockies pitcher.
Colorado Rocky. How about, wasn't there Jose Jimenez or something? Wasn't there a Jimenez dude that threw
There's
a no-hitter?
Jimenez.
Ubaldo?
Yes, Ubaldo Jimenez, number 5, 56 and 45. He had a 3.66 ERA.
Wow.
He was a Cy Young candidate.
Yeah, he was. I think he threw a no-hitter one year.
Yeah.
Who are some other Rockies? Let me think here. Come on, Lonnie. Rockies.
Good list. I mean, I would struggle with this.
I think I just threw out the 4 Rockies I remember. That was it. I think that's all I got.
This one's hard. Gosh, all-time leader. And he's currently playing for the Diamondbacks. You wouldn't get it.
No.
Jorge De La Rosa is the all-time Rockies leader in wins. Can you guess how many?
I'm going to say, oh boy.
Played a lot of years.
Yeah, I'm going to say, I'll go 72.
86.
86.
There is a guy, he's a lefty, I believe, that had 72 wins for the Rockies.
Who am I forgetting? He doesn't play anymore, right?
No.
This is a guy I'm forgetting. I can't think of his name.
Aaron Cook. No, he was a righty. Aaron Cook,
Cook
72
was a righty,
and 68.
Okay. Wow. So that's the top 3?
That's the top 3.
DeRosa, Cook, and Francis.
Jason Jennings is 4th with 58 wins. Ubaldo Jimenez. Pedro Estacio.
Oh, I forgot
number
about
6,
Pedro.
my man. Kevin Ritz.
Okay.
Number 7. This guy's still playing. Julius Chassin.
Oh.
38 and 48.
So some guy named Jasheen is
Chassin
8 on their list.
Yeah. Jarrett Wright is number 9 at 35 and 52.
He got out of there.
And the last guy, I gotta look up some of these guys. Stephen Reed, 33 and 29. Matt Belisle, 32 and 32. Jason Hamill, 15th on the list.
Okay.
Armando Reynoso, remember him?
Yes.
30 and 31. Current leader for them on the team, Tyler Chatwood, is 26 and 20.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like he's off to a Hall of Fame career
That's
if
right.
he's 26 and 20 with the Colorado Rockies.
Chad Bettis, who I believe had cancer or some disease, 23 and 19.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look at that. There's your get to know your Colorado Rockies.
Sean Estes, 33rd on the list.
A lot of lefties. And you think Jose Quintana wants anything to do with that? He's like, no.
Best pitcher that ever pitched for the Rockies.
Keep me away from that, please. All right, next hour, Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. More foolery as well here on the Tay and J Show. We'll visit with Brett Dawson, by the way, at 525. Can't wait to ask him about this Illinois job and also Russell Westbrook.
Lon makes an offer for Jose Quintana and the Cardinals coming up next.
We'll do it next. It is the Tay and J Show.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals. A nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, how about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Rosati's Pizza is serving up a special just for Lent. Fish. Yes, a pizza place serving fish. What a novel concept. Stop by Rosati's during Lent for a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Every Friday through Good Friday at Rosati's Pizza. Oh, you can still get your favorite pizza, but for Lent, it's all about fish. Every Friday, get a fish sandwich, fries, and a drink for just $8.49. Rosati's Pizza. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. 701 South Gregory in Urbana. 328-2334 and online at myrosatis.com/Urbana.
Hey, Frankie, what you got there? It's an Italian hero from Subway.
A lot of meat on that sandwich.
Well, yeah, Mrs. G. It's got mortadella, spicy capicola.
Capicola? Nice.
Genoa salami, oil and vinegar.
Is that Mediterranean oregano I smell?
Yeah, Mr. Antonelli.
What did I tell you? That thing is loaded.
That's a nice sandwich. You did good, Frankie. Real good.
Thanks, Sal. Thanks.
everybody. Subway has the authentic taste everyone loves. Introducing the Italian Hero. It's our better Italian flavor for a better Subway. Limited time only.
Live the Champagne life in Campus Town. Twice a year, the doors to Memorial Stadium open for the most dedicated, loyal, and thrifty Illini fans. Full of team-issued and team-worn apparel. With tons of Fighting Illini deals and steals, this is a stadium sale you can't miss. Stop by Memorial Stadium April 1st between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. to get your gear before it's gone. Everything up to 80% off. Last chance. Once it's gone, it's gone. Game Day Spirit is a proud member of the Champagne Center Partnership.
When you live the champagne life.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
From New York, the Fox Report.
I'm Lisa Brady. The White House tells key committee members in the Russia probe to come on over and personally review documents. But at least one lawmaker is skeptical. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern is live on Capitol Hill.
The Republican chairman of the House Intelligence Committee is facing calls to step down after he reviewed documents about U.S. surveillance on White House grounds and did not share who he met with or who he saw.
Why all the cloak and dagger stuff? And that's something that we need to get to the bottom of.
The top Intelligence Committee Democrat Adam Schiff says he has now been invited to view materials at the White House, though says he's made clear the entire committee needs access. Schiff also questions the timing of the invitation made amid a New York Times report that named two White House officials as Nunes's sources. Lisa.
Well, Jared, White House spokesman Sean Spicer not touching that report.
I understand the obsession with the process piece, but we are focused on the substance of it.
He says their focus is the actual investigation. West Virginia Senator Joe Manchin just becoming the first Democrat to support Supreme Court nominee Neil Gorsuch. They need 7 more with all Republicans for confirmation unless Senate rules are changed. Late word of a second Democrat also on board. The so-called bathroom law that prompted boycotts against North Carolina is repealed. Fox Radio's Gernal Scott with this live.
Lisa, Democratic North Carolina Governor Roy Cooper was emphatic about the repeal vote of House Bill 2.
It's gone.
But Cooper wanted a full repeal and more protections for LGBT citizens. But as he put it,
our supermajority Republican legislature will not pass these protections.
The repeal means lawmakers retain the right to make bathroom usage rules and that sports and business in North Carolina can consider doing business there again, Lisa.
Thanks, Gernal. A better day on Wall Street. The Dow up 69 points. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Attention, men. If you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or Cialis, or if you've ordered an over-the-counter product in the last few years, Noxitril is an option that is completely private, has received tremendous reviews, and can be at your door in just days. Pharmaceutical companies dislike us because we present a real option to their higher prices and insurance limitations. After years of research, Noxitril has been developed and formulated in U.S. FDA labs, packed with the highest quality potent ingredients. Noxitril is a true breakthrough in male potency. This remarkable all-natural pill is being called Viagra on steroids and is known as a sure winner. So what are you waiting for? Call now and ask how to get your free supply.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-993-0950. That's 800-993-0950. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-993-0950. 800-993-0950.
A proposed settlement with former students of President Trump's former real estate school is before a judge in California. Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal is live in L.A.
Lisa, Judge Gonzalo Curiel noted the settlement allows former students to recover about 80% of the cost of Trump University, and he called that extraordinary. He said it appears to be a fair settlement, but he had to address the concerns of one main objection to it first. Sherry Simpson from Fort Lauderdale thought this deal meant she could opt out of the settlement at a later date and preserve a right to sue the president individually. She has said she'd like an admission from the president that he was wrong. Plaintiffs had sued saying Trump University was a scam. Attorneys for the others who want this settlement approved say in this agreement, members waived their right to sue individually and that the deadline to opt out has passed. Lisa.
Thanks, Jessica. Some big companies say they won't go along with the president's move to roll back President Obama's efforts to fight climate change. 81 companies made a pledge with the Obama administration to reduce carbon emissions, including Walmart and Apple. Some of those companies are critical of President Trump's executive orders. Others stop short of criticism, but say they'll stick to their own targets for lower emissions and greater use of renewable energy. A burger chain takes the wraps off a new ad campaign starring the food.
Carl's Jr., famous for using nearly naked models munching on burgers, are getting back to the basics.
Daddy, you're back. Take that down. Put that up. Was supposed to be a fresh ingredient. And then that lady got in there and her clothes flew off.
The new commercial shows Carl's Sr. returning to take back the company, hanging up pictures of burgers while taking down photos of swimsuit models.
Fox Radio's Michelle Polino, the CEO, has defended those original ads, saying they helped save the company. In New York, I'm Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Well, hi, rain. And it's gone.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer. Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long, whether it's heating or cooling. Call the experts at 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Thunderstorms expected to continue for the next several hours. Then it gets cool tonight, a low of 42. Cold tomorrow, high of just 45 and overcast, a low of 34. Warms up a bit on Saturday, high 58, mostly sunny, a low of 39. Right now, rain and thunderstorms throughout the area, 63 in Champaign-Urbana. It is the Tay and J Show. Jeremy Warner, Juan Tay. Cardinals tickets on sale now, and they start at just $5.
What?
The 2017 season full of great matchups and cool giveaways, including 6 jerseys, 3 rings, and much more. Get your 2017 tickets today at Cardinals.com.
Cardinals always do a good job with their giveaways and such. Always fun to go down to St. Louis. I'm going to try to hit a few more games this year. Last year, I kind of took a year off, and it wasn't because I was like bandwagoning it and thinking, oh, well, the Cubs are good, Cardinals aren't, so I'm not going to go to games. I just couldn't find the time last year. This year, I'm going to find the time. I'm going to go down to some games. Are you going to go to any White Sox games?
Yes, I will. I didn't last year, and it was the first year in a long time.
Isn't that funny? You and I both skipped a year.
And it was directly because their team was really frustrating to watch. And
Right.
I really just didn't want to support the franchise.
Yeah.
Because I was like, pick a direction.
Yep.
Either go all in, which they didn't. They go 2 steps, but need 3 and 4.
I know.
So it's like pay up, pay a lot of money for these guys if you really want to compete, or it's tear this thing down and do it the right way. And
that's
finally,
what
they're doing it.
You're going to take Torrin to his first game this year, I guess?
At some point.
Are you going to raise him as a White Sox fan?
He can pick really what he wants, but yes, I would encourage him to do White Sox.
See, in my household, baseball was the one sport that both my sons were going to be Cardinals fans.
I mean, I would imagine just going to a bunch of White Sox games
and following the Sox.
He'd like to. I mean, it would bother me if he became a Cubs fan a little bit.
I'm with you. I
know if that's really what he wanted to.
Yeah.
But they're going to be winning most likely. Though maybe their run will be done by the time he's 6 or 7 years old and he's really into sports. And the White Sox will be on top.
And the White Sox will be starting to make their run.
But for us, I mean, just getting to the games is so easy.
Yes.
I'm a White Sox fan, so they generally tend to go in that direction.
I remember having this conversation with Gene, and I'm like, I don't care what NFL team they root for. In fact, I'm going to push them away from the Arizona Cardinals. I don't care what NBA team they root for. I don't care what college, although I'm really going to push them towards Illinois, and they are.
Hard for them to ignore it living here.
Being right here. But
if they became ISU Redbirds fans.
Although I'll tell you what, the frustration of Illinois lately has really gotten under Andrew's skin.
Yeah.
Like he's like, I'm like, do you want to go to this NIT game? And he's like, why? They stink.
He's never seen a winner.
No, he hasn't. Is that sad? No, he has not.
In either sport, right? I mean, the bowl game a couple years ago.
That was it. And so, no, but Cardinals baseball, that was what I wanted to do. Can I do something real quick?
Oh.
Can I bring back a memory? Kids, gather around. Lucas Tay is 17, his first ever Cardinals game. I've told you about this. I had this plan, so we go down to Busch Stadium. Gene had him like in one of those front pocket things, not her actual pocket.
Yeah.
But like a, whatever you call that, where he's on
a harness
on the front. So I had to give my ticket first. I go through the gate, and I've got our little video camera going. of Lucas Tay walking into Busch Stadium for the first time. And I'm like, yes! Now, he could care less about anything that's going on.
And the sun shine down upon him.
I was doing all these stupid,
he is in baseball nirvana.
Yeah, like there's Stan Musial statue behind. I'm panning out or zooming out to get Lucas in the shot. So then that game they played.
B-roll.
I'm going to edit a package later.
Did you bring like the WAND camera?
No, it was our little guy camera. So late, the Cardinals played the Cubs, and I was fearful going into that game. I was literally sitting there going, I do not want him to go to his first game ever, and the Cubs beat.
How old was he?
He was born in February. It would have been May or April
so
or May.
3-4 months old?
Oh yeah, he was young. So here he is. I mean, it took a yeoman effort by Gene to even bring him to this game. So the Cardinals go out and slay the Cubs like 13-3. And Yachty, would Yachty have been playing? No.
Matheny would have been playing.
Maybe Matheny. But the Cardinals went back-to-back-to-back home runs.
Ray Langford, one of them. Right?
By Ray. I know J.D. Drew was one of them. And they went back-to-back-to-back, and they won Lucas Tay's first ever game. 13-3.
Now, you don't have to pay for a ticket, right? When you have an infant like
not
that?
with him. As long as they can sit on your lap. Now,
is there an age limit there? Like, can maybe 5 or 6 and you can sit them on your lap?
I guess. If you want to deal with that. I don't know what the cutoff is. But here's the funny thing. You and I are both second kids.
Yes.
And we probably our entire life complained to our parents that the first one, Lance and Brad, were the favorites. We got all the hand-me-downs. Nobody loved us as much. I'm sitting here telling you right now, I cannot remember Andrew Tay's first Cardinal game. And Lucas is like, that memory came to me in a heartbeat. So it's true, man. It's real.
Here's the thing about the second son, though.
Being a second child is real.
The second child, I enjoyed more.
Yeah.
Because the first one, they worried about a lot more. The second one, you just got away with everything.
What's that, Jeremy? You want to go play on the interstate?
Yeah, go for it.
Just
whatever.
Be home by 5 for dinner. Yeah, I mean, that's about what it is.
After college, they stopped calling, so they're like, oh, he'll be fine. Right? Like, you could push curfew a little bit more.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's like, nothing's going to happen.
The parents are older. They're in bed.
They have higher expectations for the first son,
They do.
too.
They totally
So,
do.
you're not really going to disappoint them all that much.
And it worked. Brad's he's like this big accountant.
Yeah.
Lance is some IT whiz.
Yeah, making all that money. And
you and I do a radio show.
Yeah, I mean... Worked out well for me.
Thanks a lot, Mama Werner and Mama Tay. You made your sons into losers.
We probably will take them to a game at some point.
Yeah.
Tiff and I, we are still going to work on getting to our ballparks because we've done 15 of 30 so far.
I think that's one of the coolest things.
We're doing Toronto this year.
Are you really?
So we're going to get away. We want to make sure that, as we have kids, we still have a weekend getaway for ourselves, right?
You have to.
So we're going to get away to Toronto.
That's cool.
She did this for my birthday anniversary gift. So we're going to go to a Toronto Blue Jays game and spend the weekend up there.
Tiff is awesome, man.
Yeah,
she does this.
I just pulled up the average MLB ticket prices for 2017. Who do you think is the most expensive average ticket?
Well, I'll still go Yankees.
Yankees are second at $106.05 for the average ticket.
Is it Cubbies?
The Chicago Cubs, number one by about 50%.
Really?
$150.63 is your average ticket price.
Enjoy your winning, Cubs
for the
fans.
Chicago Cubs.
Enjoy your winning.
Where do you think the Cardinals?
The Cardinals' average ticket price, I would say they are, I think they're fairly affordable. So I'm going to go 16th.
Way higher.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, lower or higher? So
higher on the list. So high, like a lower number, but higher up on a list.
So we'll go, wait, I'm still confused. So if I go 10, am I on the right direction?
Yes.
Okay. Don't make me think this late in the day. I'll go 6.
8th.
Are they really?
$72.80. One spot ahead of them, the Pittsburgh Pirates.
What?
They need money.
Yeah, they do.
If they want to compete.
It's a nice stadium.
It's a great
stadium. It's your favorite, right?
Best I've seen. $76 a ticket. Baltimore Orioles are 6th, I believe. It's 78. The Cincinnati Reds, 79. Atlanta Braves, first season in a new stadium, are 4th highest at 101.
No doubt.
And the Boston Red Sox, 3rd at $102. Who do you think is the cheapest ticket?
The cheapest ticket out there.
In Major League Baseball.
Let me give some thought to this. Now, it'd be easy to just jump on like a really bad team like the Padres. I'm going to go Minnesota Twins.
The Twins, let's see here. They're middle of the list.
Are they?
54.89. They're in the bottom half, but right in the middle.
Okay. I was thinking Midwest. They're not going to charge as much. We're nice people. How about the Rays, Tampa Rays?
The Tampa Rays, surprisingly,
are pretty expensive.
A little higher on this list, $51.26. That's about eighth to the bottom, it looks like.
When we went to the Rays game, I bought that $10 drink, all the pop you can drink.
It was beautiful. I did that too. It's the worst park in the world.
It's horrible. And Andrew had to have a Rays hat that cost me about $60.
That's really
flat bill. Right. Let's see. Who would be the lowest?
Surprisingly, the Dodgers are fourth lowest. At $44.99.
See, I didn't know how the West Coast spent money. So I'll go Padres then as the lowest.
The San Diego Padres are one of the top 10 at $72.66.
Really?
Yeah.
This makes no sense to me. I mean, none of this makes sense to me on how to even gauge this.
And the Toronto Blue Jays, I think expensive city. Fifth lowest, $48.32. Texas Rangers, $50.22.
Wow.
Detroit Tigers, $51.17. You still haven't named anybody in the top three. Bottom three.
What I love is that now that you guys have Torrin, you're watching your spending.
Yeah.
So you looked at the bottom 5 tickets and you said, let's go to Toronto. It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's too bad they're not in the Sky Dome anymore. You got to just spend the night, watch the game. Cleveland
is one of the more expensive ones. $65.22.
Baltimore.
No, I said Baltimore's in the top.
Oh, they're
7.
already in the top. Florida Marlins.
You mean the Miami Marlins?
Yeah, or whatever they are now. That teal
They're
and
about
green.
middle of the pack, $57.85.
Colorado?
The Colorado Rockies are middle of the pack, $59.63. Arizona Diamondbacks, middle of the pack, $58.14.
Who's a cheap team? Kansas City.
Why would I bring this up?
Oh, the White Sox.
Yes.
Oh, I thought it would be too easy.
Cheapest ticket in baseball at $30.26.
Well, you get what you pay for.
You're naming every team.
I went through every team trying to avoid the White Sox. Are the Royals low on that? Who are the bottom 3?
Royals are third lowest, $43.48. The second lowest, and I get it because the stadium sucks. I wasn't impressed by it.
Okay.
And they have one great player. That's the LA Angels. $32.32.
Isn't that funny? And how much is their payroll? How much money have they spent?
You got to get people in there.
Yeah, with Trout and with
it's amazing.
Pujols.
I thought that list was really interesting because some of the teams you thought would be low are pretty high in that.
I loved how I listed almost every AL Central team and just avoided the White Sox in that thing. Now, speaking of the White Sox, you have a player out there that needs to be traded.
Doesn't need to.
But you're wanting Jose Quintana because you're wanting to bring in some studs.
For the right price.
Before we start
He's
talking
on the market
deal,
if you want him.
Yeah, because I got a deal for you.
Okay.
But before we start, what are you looking for in terms of position?
Well, the reason we're talking about this is John Heyman has reported the Cardinals are a sleeper team to acquire Jose Quintana, that they've been quietly interested in Jose Quintana. I don't think there's going to be much to this.
I don't either.
But it's intriguing because I think there will be teams that you're not thinking of now that will be interested. I mentioned the Rockies with Paul Klee, and I think the New York Yankees. If they start winning this year, I think that's a team that gives away one of their top prospects and some of their guys lower that can possibly get Jose Quintana, be a great fit. And it'd be ironic because Jose Quintana, they cut. Their team a while ago, and the White Sox picked up.
Well, what's funny about this is when this was, you sent me this link this morning to read, and I did allow myself for a minute to picture Jose Quintana in a Cardinal uniform in that rotation. Oh, I absolutely.
He's everything you ever wanted out of Jaime Garcia.
Right. He'd be a lot more consistent. He'd be that lefty in that rotation. Listen, I started thinking, I'm like, okay, so here's some of the guys.
Well, I keep bringing this up just for Cardinals fans who don't know who Jose Quintana is, because I know most fans don't know.
No, we want to give you Pete Kozma, who's not even with us anymore, and Matt Adams.
The last 4 seasons of Major League Baseball. Now, this is just one measurement.
Okay.
But Fangraphs wins above replacement. There are 6 pitchers with a higher wins above replacement WAR over the last 4 years.
Then Jose Quintana.
Clayton Kershaw, Max Scherzer, Chris Sale, David Price, Corey Kluber, John Lester.
Unreal.
He's ahead of Madison Bumgarner, Jake Arrieta, Cole Hamels, Justin Verlander, Felix Hernandez, Zach Greinke, Adam Wainwright, Steven Strasburg, Johnny Cueto.
He's your best pitcher immediately in St. Louis. He's your best pitcher for most clubs.
Yes. He's your ace.
He's your ace.
I mean, Carlos Martinez is really, really good.
Yeah, no, I know what you're
Jose
saying.
Quintana's better.
He'd be your ace on most every team in Major League Baseball. Jose Quintana would be your ace. This is why when you talk to us and us being other fans about what you want for Jose Quintana, you're not blowing smoke here. It's going to take a lot to get him. Now, I would normally in a trade give you somebody that's maybe already a major leaguer and some prospects, but I don't think you're wanting that.
I don't want Colton Wong.
Right. You don't want a guy like Colton Wong, and I knew that. I knew that going into this. I'm like, why? What's the point? What's the point of giving you Colton Wong? Because you're not gonna compete for the next 2 or 3, at least 2 years.
We want to put Yohan Moncada at second.
That is correct, and you've got Moncada coming up. So, to me, it's going to start with this. Since I've been with you and talking White Sox, I don't think you've had one good catcher since we've done the Tyler Flowers.
AJ Pierzynski.
AJ was your best since you and I have started the show, and I've almost felt bad for you that your catchers that you tried out on a daily basis are just woeful. So, without a doubt, my list would start with Carson Kelly.
That is a guy who has to be in the
Yes, he would have to be in this.
If you're the Cardinals, you have to put him in the deal.
He's number 2 on the list of Cardinals prospects right now.
Yes.
And probably number 1 because Alex Reyes has moved up to the Cardinals. Number 2, I know it's your liking of this kid, and it would hurt me a little bit right now because I feel like we could use the depth that he provides, but Luke Weaver would also be on that list.
That's a good start.
Okay.
That's a strong start, Lon.
Okay.
That's a very strong start.
Number 3.
Because what I like about that, I know the White Sox have a lot of top pitching prospects. What I think the White Sox are eventually going to have is the best bullpen in baseball.
Okay.
I think a lot of these guys are going to end up in the bullpen. I think Giolito's a starter. I think Kopech's a starter.
Yes.
Obviously, Carlos Rodon is. But Luke Weaver would be a really good middle-of-the-rotation guy who's going to be a starter. I don't know if Ronaldo Lopez is going to be a starter. Zach Birdie's obviously a closer.
Fair enough.
I think Carson Fulmer is going to be a reliever as well.
Another guy that I would trade to you, and I'll give you a choice of one. They're both outfielders. Harrison Bader or Magnus Sierra. Now, I think you guys would be, I think it's Magnurus Sierra. I think you'd be more interested in him. Speed guy, can get on base.
Give me Bader.
You want Bader?
Yeah.
Okay.
More all-around guy.
And so Cardinals fans out there listening.
That's a good start.
Yes, the loss of Carson Kelly would hurt. But you've got Yadi Molina probably for another 3. This is going to be announced soon.
Yes.
I think that I don't know anything, but I assume they're going to announce that Yachty's signed.
Claibs told you last time.
Yeah, right. And then you're just going to have to move on Cardinals fans from Carson Kelly. It's just that simple. And it hurts me more than anything because I've told you for 6 years.
You're so worried about it.
How my
and
fear
then
of this.
Then you have the top catching prospect in baseball.
Right.
Draft some third baseman, turn him into the best catching prospect in baseball.
Luke Weaver, obviously you guys know about, Cardinals fans know about, but I think there's enough depth in this Cardinals rotation with guys.
And remember, you're adding Quintana.
Yeah, right. And we're getting Quintana
for
to this
4
thing.
years at a cheap price.
Amen.
So this does sound, this sounds like a fair offer if Quintana was making what he normally makes.
Yes.
But then when you put in what he makes, his contract over the next 4 years is the best deal in baseball.
It's unreal.
It's like $9 million or $10 million a year.
This is saving the Cardinals money.
Yes.
By getting him. He's making less than Mike Leake.
Yes. Far less.
Next,
half.
Right. Next is Harrison Bader. Yes, this is a kid Cardinals fans like. He's a center fielder coming up. What did you just do? You just signed a center fielder for 5 years.
Yeah.
So
you're
me,
giving up your strengths.
I'm giving strengths away to you that would bring us Quintana. Now it comes down, I think we need to go a 4th guy.
I need one more guy.
I agree with you, and I think you want a pitcher.
I can go with a pitcher or a hitter. What are you going to throw in here?
I do not want to give you Delvin Perez. I do not want to give you the shortstop.
Even I think that would be a great deal for the White Sox.
Mm-hmm.
I love Jose Quintana. You would definitely be giving up top dollar.
Big time.
And I think teams have to give up top dollar, but I think that's too much to expect.
I agree. And I hope Cardinals fans realize I'm going from a strength of what you've already got. You've got Yachty for, I think it's going to happen for another 3 years. You can expend, then you can get rid of Carson Kelly, Luke Weaver. Luke Weaver hurts, but you've got some guys. Plus, as you said, you're adding Quintana. I don't know I just throw in another pitcher. I don't want to get rid of. I like this Paul DeJong kid too.
Yeah,
that the Cardinals. I think I would keep him. I would keep Delvin Perez. How about Jack Flaherty? He's another guy that is one of those starters. A guy that Kevin Wheeler loves is Austin Gomber.
Yeah,
is that how you say it? He's the lefty. Kevin Wheeler loves him and thinks that he's going to be pretty solid.
What I would want is a high ceiling flyer.
Okay,
right? Whether that's Edmund Sosa, the shortstop, Dakota Hudson, the pitcher you just took in the first round last year. Kind of a Dane Dunning type that the White Sox got. There's the third piece in the Adam Eaton deal.
I think we got a deal here.
I think that's a very fair offer.
I think we got a deal, and Jose Quintana could start opening day tomorrow or Sunday.
I do not see the Cardinals doing it.
I don't either. Either.
It's not them to sell the farm.
Nope.
It's not what they do, and I understand why they don't do it.
Right.
And this is why a lot of teams aren't willing to pay the price of something like that. But I think Quintana would make the Cardinals rotation one of the best in baseball.
I mean, you look.
I know Cardinals fans do not know Jose Quintana.
Right.
Do some research on it, because he is consistently one of the best pitchers in baseball. He's not flashy. Not going to strike out, a guy per inning, but he's going to give you exactly what you wanted out of Jaime Garcia for all those years. He's the high ceiling version of Jaime, and he's consistently doing it. 22, 24 quality starts per year. So, in the National League, he'd have a sub-3 ERA.
Absolutely.
And he's going to give you 200-something innings every year.
Well, and let yourself dream to next year in the postseason, let's say. Your top three pitchers are Quintana, Martinez, and Reyes.
Yeah.
Those are three pitchers that go out and give you a chance to beat anybody in baseball,
and then either
including the Cubs.
Wainwright or Wynn.
Yeah. I mean, that's
even this year.
Woo.
If you throw Reyes out there and you have Wainwright and Lynn, or you can have Mike Leake.
I love it, because it's all about that. It's all about getting to the playoffs and having that one guy for the wild card or those three guys for that best of seven.
Yeah, I just don't know if the Cardinals will do it because it's not their MO.
No.
Though if they want to surpass the Cubs in the next couple of years, they might have to do a move like this.
Maybe Mozeliak will say, what?
Would Cubs fans be happy if you did that kind of move?
I don't think they care at this point.
I don't think Jose Quintana gets you to the Cubs.
No, it doesn't.
It definitely can improve your team to get to the playoffs, and you guys know as well as anybody, you get there, you got a chance.
No, you never know what's going to happen next. I agree. And to me, again, you are shredding in that trade some of your stars, but I think there's stars that are blocked right now. There's stars that are blocked from getting up to the big
their
leagues.
prospects.
And their prospects.
The White Sox would hope two of those four guys work out.
You just never know.
I like
what are
that.
your thoughts?
I'd do that move.
All right. What are your thoughts? 359-2255. I can't wait to read these. I'm sure some Cardinals fans are like, Lon, you're drunk. No, I'm not.
Give him Colton.
Oh, of course. 217-359-2255. We'll visit with Brad Sturdy later on this hour, orangeandbluenews.com. Brett Dawson, who covered the 04-05 Illini, now covering Russell Westbrook on a nightly basis. He'll join us at 5:25. It is the Tay and J Show.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days. Mortgage loans and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
I'm Dr. Barry Howell, a dentist and candidate for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Every day we hear about the need to educate and train people for careers in healthcare. Parkland College is at the forefront of that effort, and I want to use my experience and background to help Parkland achieve that goal. In addition to treating thousands of patients over my career, I recently served as president of the Illinois State Dental Society, working to improve dentistry throughout the state while encouraging young students to choose a career in healthcare. As a member of the Parkland College Board of Trustees, I will work to increase student enrollment while reaching out to businesses to identify ways to meet the demands of our changing workforce. And I promise to hold the line on property taxes by finding sensible ways to save money in these challenging times. I'm Dr. Barry Howell, and I would appreciate your support on April 4th for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Paid for by Howell for Parkland.
Got a question? Talk to our experts now at StevieJay.com. Experts are there, ready to answer your questions for free. Home improvement questions? Our experts from Kramer Siding and Windows can help. Thinking you could use some extra help with landscaping? Think Country Arbor's Nursery. Experts are online, waiting to talk to you at StevieJay.com. Talk to Dr. Shu and our experts from West Main Dental to keep your smile bright. They are the Stevie J Broadcasting experts. Ask an expert today at StevieJay.com. That's StevieJay.com.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Make a difference in Champaign County. Join the Champaign County Sheriff's Office. Apply by April 21st. Applicants must be 21, have a high school diploma, and possess a valid driver's license. Apply to become a Champaign County Deputy Sheriff. Here's what Sergeant Bolt and Deputy Donovan have to say about their job.
Every day is going to be different.
I enjoy the variety. We can go from Ludlow all the way down to Pasodum, and we're handling a wide variety of different things, crimes and accidents. You know, I enjoy interacting with people and interacting with the public, and as a police officer, even opportunity to, from time to time, make an impact on somebody's life in a positive way.
You know, I think anybody that is up to dealing with things that are tough to deal with, I mean, emotionally and physically, it can be a very difficult job. You know, at the Sheriff's Office, we've got an awesome group of people that work together, and, you know, we're all very close, and, you know, I know that everybody there always has each other's back.
Apply by April 21st. Go to espncu.com and click on the Sheriff's logo.
The Champaign County Sheriff's Office is an equal opportunity affirmative action ADA employer. Females and minorities are encouraged to apply.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Three hard shell tacos, no lettuce, mild sauce.
Taco Bell order?
Yeah, baby.
4:31, I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update. Brad Underwood continues to try to put his staff together. He's out at the Final Four in Phoenix. But Illini women's head coach Nancy Faye announced she has 3 assistants to her staff. Okay. Mikhail Malone and Tiana Kirkland will stay on staff. They were under Beaumont as well. And she'll also add Steve Cochran, who had 3 stints under her at Washington University. Javon Pickett reaffirmed his commitment to Illinois men's basketball today, so it seems like Brad Underwood will keep his top 10 recruiting class together. Joey Biggs announced last night he'll join Underwood after spending the last 10 years as director of basketball operations at Oklahoma State.
Sounds like a Saturday Night Live name.
Joey Biggs.
Joey Biggs.
Yeah. Underwood hopes to add to his recruiting class as well. Top target Mark Smith continues to receive more interest, though. Michigan State offered last week. Kentucky will visit him next Thursday. Nebraska ball took a big hit last night with forward Ed Morrow announcing he will transfer. The Chicago Simeon product averaged 9.4 points and 7.5 rebounds as a sophomore. Cornhuskers went 1-7 when Morrow was out with injury. Former Illini coach John Gross and Illinois State coach Dan Mueller reportedly were candidates for the open Dayton job, but the Flyers announced they have hired former VCU and Alabama coach Anthony Grant to replace Archie Miller. Illinois volleyball coach Chris Thomas got his first commitment last night, and it's a big one. Class of 2019 middle blocker Ellie Holzman committed to the Illini. Max Preps named the New Orleans native the National Sophomore Volleyball Player of the Year.
Wow.
Baseball, Trevor Rosenthal will start the season on the 10-day DL with lat soreness, and John Heyman of FanRag Sports reports the Cardinals have quietly showed interest in White Sox starter Jose Quintana. Not so quiet anymore.
No, I barely knew you, Trevor Rosenthal. Flack came as close to ever punching me.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into details, but it wasn't good.
What was it about?
I'm not going to go into details.
You can't bring up a story and not go into any details.
I was ripping on his background, his ethnicity. How do you say that?
It's not a good thing, Lon.
No, I know. We were joking around. We were having fun, no doubt. I told him what I am.
Maybe he wasn't having fun.
No, I think
maybe you really struck a negative chord.
He came at me with fist flying, and I'm like, Harry, I've been working out.
Big Ten offensive lineman there, huh?
Which made it even funnier when I said, "Dude, I've been working out," and he stopped. He stopped in his tracks.
So I love the Cardinals fans' reactions to these Jose Quintana trade talks.
What are we giving you?
On
nothing?
our Facebook page, Derek said, "Yeah, sure, I'll trade for him. Send Lynn, Adams, and Wong."
Come on, people.
Jim, dump Wong on him.
Of course. Boy, Wong is like, nobody likes that guy.
And then replies to this, now, Lynn's a bigger asset to St. Louis this year than any of those other guys. Keep him. This is Jose Quintana.
Like you wouldn't get rid of Lance Lynn for Jose Quintana. I think we forget when we trade. I almost forgot. I almost forgot when I said, we'll trade you Luke Weaver. I hate that it hurts our depth. But then you're like, well, hold on, though. You're getting Quintana.
You're getting
Jose
freaking Quintana.
Yeah, you're getting your ace.
Andrew, some sort of package that includes 2 of Bader, Sierra, Perez, Weaver, and then a bunch of players or relievers. No, you got Bader is not even he's a top 100 guy, maybe?
Bader won't even be up this year, I doubt.
I mean, guys, this is Jose Quintana.
Right.
Look what Chris Sale got.
Mm-hmm.
Look what Adam Eaton got, and he's not even as good as Jose Quintana.
Yeah, it's going to take a lot. It's going to take a lot.
Tom, how about this deal from the Pirates, Tyler Glasnow, Austin Meadows, and Josh Bell. That's 3 top 25 prospects. Yes, I'm doing that.
Okay.
The Pirates will not do that.
No, they don't. So, I was seeing this. Yachty will be 35 if he receives a 3-year. 2 of those will be to mentor Carson Kelly.
Is he really going to? I mean, I guess Yachty will mentor, but.
No, but listen, they're not going to waste Carson Kelly for the next 3 years.
I don't know if they'll waste him.
Well, in other words,
I don't think they want to trade him.
Well, I don't either, but what are you going to do with him for the next 3 years if Molina signs a 3-year deal? Is he just your backup catcher for 3 years?
Could be.
I guess. I mean, maybe.
I mean, you could put Yachty's games down to 120.
Well, that's true. If you did that, you and I don't personally know Yachty. So when I say this, understand that I'm not asking you, although we met him, we talked to him.
Yeah.
You know Yachty, he's not going to catch 120 games. He's going to say, are you kidding me?
Yeah. I mean, he's a great trade trip. And if you can get a Jose Quintana for him, I think it makes sense.
I think it makes total sense.
You'd have a lot of time to develop the next guy or to acquire the next guy.
That is funny, though, when you said that I've been worrying for 6 years about who will back up or who's going to replace Yachty, and now all of a sudden the Cardinals have the best catching prospect. You know who's going to be really good, and we talked about it yesterday with Sahadev Sharma, and that's Contreras.
Wilson Contreras.
Oh, my.
Had
with
a big
the Cubbies.
spring.
Woo!
Not that springs mean anything. They usually don't. But we saw that kid enough last year. It was like, why is Montero playing that much?
And I like his, I don't want to say attitude. I like the way he goes about
He's got some Yachty to him, doesn't he?
He does. He's got some spark.
He's got some pop in that bat,
yeah,
too.
He does. I mean, that's going to be team.
Just imagine that. You add a Yachty Molina to the Cubs.
Yeah.
But with more pop.
Right.
I mean, Contreras last year, 282, 357 on base, 488 slugging. That's an all-star.
Mm-hmm.
If he played more, if he would have played 450 to 500 at-bats, that's an all-star.
Without a doubt.
He could go up to 18, 20 home runs this year with an on-base of 357.
Unreal.
He's one of the best catchers in baseball.
Yeah. And he's got a gun.
And you add that to Bryant, Russell, Baez / Zobrist.
Do we have to do this again
Anthony
today?
Rizzo.
I had nightmares
Kyle
last
Schwarber.
night.
Oh, and center fielder might be pretty good. Albert Almora, former 6th overall pick.
Yeah, you got John Jay, too.
And that Jason Hayward's the weakness of that team.
Isn't that funny? And watch him come out and be an all-star.
I think he could be great defensively and running the bases.
That's all he needs to do.
Get on base.
That's all he needs to do.
No.
Flash the arm. Make sure you don't go first to third on him. That's what Hayward does. Catch that ball in foul territory. Stop a rally. I mean, that's what a good outfielder that is good at defense does, and that's what Hayward can do for you.
So Illini women's coach Nancy Fay keeps 2 Matt Bohan assistants, O'Kale Malone and Tiana Kirkland, who've been with that program for a while now. I think that's a lot to keep the recruiting class.
I do
Those
too.
are the top 2 recruiters. And then she had Steve Cochran, who spent a lot of time with her at Wash U. So guy knows the system, can coach, do more of that stuff. But Gianna Kirkland and LaKale Malone were really good recruiters. LaKale Malone's going to be the associate head coach. She was under Bollant as well. So I think that's a pretty good strategy for her.
I like it.
2 who know how to recruit can bring in, Shanice Lewis is one of the top point guards in the country. Dia Moore is a nice prospect out of Bolingbrook as well. So you keep that talent. You know people can recruit at this level. And then you get your right-hand man maybe in Steve Cochran who kind of knows the X's and O's of what you want to run.
I was going to say strategically that's the right move. And when I thought that in my mind, I'm like, I hope those 2 ladies don't think that I'm thinking, we'll just keep him here for the recruiting class, because I think they're both good coaches. Yeah. And obviously you see that under Bollant when they're starting to bring in. I mean, their problem wasn't bringing in talent, it was keeping it here.
Yeah.
So that will be the issue now
Seeing
going
them
forward.
as juniors and seniors is the issue.
How cool would that be?
This roster's been full of freshmen and sophomores the last 3 or 4 years.
So you're already a little bit thin on this team, especially inside. You've got to keep this recruiting class coming in. And boy, won't it be nice if the season starts next year for both men and women, and every one of these recruits is still on board, and you've upgraded, we think, coaching-wise with Underwood and Fay.
Yeah.
So it will be interesting to see. I still am completely confused that Matt Bollant could not win at Illinois. I'm still completely confused.
Yeah, couldn't keep his players.
But I think Josh Whitman had to make the right decision there, and he did it.
Coming up next, we'll talk about the men's recruiting side and who will Underwood add as his assistants. We're still waiting official word on the final 2. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. We'll talk about that coming up next.
Look forward to it. It's the Tay and J Show.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. From Charlotte, here's Dari Noka.
I've loved sports since I can remember. I didn't watch cartoons when I was a kid. I watched re-aired football games. There's home video of me being called by my name when I was 3, and my response was, I'm not Dari, I'm a hockey player. I still love sports, but not when things like this happen. Several Kentucky basketball fans sent death threats to referee John Higgins after the Wildcats lost to North Carolina Sunday because they didn't like the fouls he called. They've threatened death to Higgins and done all they can do to publicly bash his business because of a sporting event. I spend plenty of time around Kentucky fans. I do it regularly on the SEC network. They call themselves Big Blue Nation, and most of Big Blue Nation is absolutely incredible. But this is disgusting. When anybody would stoop to a level like this over a sporting event, it absolutely defines that individual. Sports are great when perspective is not lost. When it is, and sports becomes literally life or death, then sports become hard to love. In 60 seconds, why we're lucky this didn't happen in Arkansas next season.
This is Pete's yard, and Pete's happy that winter's finally over. Still, winter's damage is done and has left Pete's yard withered and weak. But Pete knows all he needs is Scott's Turf Builder Lawn Food. It greens and thickens lawns to help crowd out weeds, guaranteed. Just 2 simple feedings, one now and one later this spring. So Pete can easily take his grass from hungry to healthy. This is a Scott's yard. Pick up Scott's Turf Builder Lawn Food today.
First time skydiving? Sure is. Okay, you just open the door like this and you jump. Oh, wait. Should we be like in tandem? Tandem? That's a great idea. Are you a certified instructor? No, but I love parachutes and I love people. Here we go.
You wouldn't take chances with an uncertified skydiving instructor. Don't do it with your finances. Find a certified financial planner professional today at letsmakeaplan.org. CFP. Work with the highest standard.
House Bill 1249. It's been signed into Arkansas law, and it will allow people to carry concealed handguns on publicly owned land, including college sports venues, if they complete an 8-hour training course designed by state police. Now, the Arkansas Senate did add an amendment preventing this from being allowed at sporting events, but the House hasn't passed it yet. Let's hope it does. One of Arkansas's top broadcasters, Bo Mattingly, says some at Arkansas are concerned that the SEC could boot the Hogs right out of the conference if guns are allowed at sporting events. And as much as I appreciate the Razorback Athletic Department, I think that if sporting events are not exempt from this law, the SEC probably should boot Arkansas. Remember that story I just told about fans sending death threats to an official? Imagine if those same fans had guns in that arena. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Dari Noka.
Hanson's Auto Repair in Urbana is a family-owned and operated full-service garage. For over 40 years, they've offered friendly atmosphere, quality work, and reasonable prices. Whether it's an oil change, brake service, or engine replacement, Hanson's Auto does it all. They're a locally owned dealer who cares, providing fast, comprehensive, and expert service. Family-owned, operated, and trusted since 1966. Hanson's Auto Repair, 1202 East Washington in Urbana. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Friday. Visit them online at hansonsautorepair.com.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hey, for one final week, Prairie View Landscaping is continuing their 25th anniversary celebration by giving away a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. And guess what? Today's the day you need to get on and get registered. You can email mypbdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's mypbdiscount@gmail.com. You must register by today, March 30th, to be eligible. When you do, you'll be registered to win a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes just in time for the Final Four. So register, do it today. Try to get a free, or you can get a free quote up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care and get a chance to win that 55-inch LG Smart TV. It's mypbdiscount@gmail.com.
So we were just talking during the break as Lon sank a jumper before.
Yes.
And I asked him, I'd go, what feels better, making a three-pointer or hitting a home run? And that's an easy question.
Yeah, home run.
And then I said, making a buzzer beater or hitting an average home run, like a third-inning solo shot.
To make it 2-0. Right. Man, I'd rather hit a buzzer beater.
Right.
But the thing about a home run is, and I haven't hit many in my life, you really get to soak that in for about 18 seconds.
Yeah.
You know, as you walk around. Like, I remember when I took Brad Sturdy yard, and I just slowly trotted around the bases, stopping at each base to admire the distance with which I hit that ball.
Brad Sturdy, is Lon dreaming? Like, is this an actual dream, or did he actually hit a home run off you?
I think that was drop third strike.
And like Little League home run after that?
Are you kidding me? I would have taken a drop third strike just to get on base. I've never reached base against Brad Sturdy. It's not fair. Brad, I'm going to wait until you're like 70, and then I'm going to see if I can still reach base and hope that I'm Lauren Tate-ish at 68.
He can still play.
I know he can. I know. Hey, you missed our powwow yesterday.
I know. I really wanted to come over and had something come up. Didn't get there.
It kind of ruined the mood. I told Jeremy, I'm like, this would have been fun.
Way to start this interview on.
It just kind of ticked me off. I was wanting to see Sturdy, and he didn't even show up.
All right, Brad, I guess it's just going to be me and you talking here, which might not be a bad thing.
No.
But Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Follow him on Twitter at Sturdy32. Let's talk some Illini hoops.
Yes.
And Brad Underwood, it seems like he's keeping this class together. We have social media confirmation from Javon Pickett, Trent Frazier, and DeMonte Williams. I haven't seen a tweet or an Instagram from Jeremiah Tillman quite yet, but it seems like he's keeping this class together, huh, Brad?
Yeah, he's done a really good job of coming in and, selling, exactly what, selling his vision. And these guys are buying in. And he's done a great job of, connecting. And it certainly didn't hurt that they added, kept Jamal Walker on staff, because a few weeks and he's done everything that you really could have asked for.
Yeah, and everyone was worried about John Gross. If you fire him, you're not going to keep this class. Well, it seems like he's answered those questions.
No doubt.
But Mark Smith is the next key. He's a very popular guy. Tom Izzo comes down to see him and offers him. Sounds like Kentucky's going to come through. You wonder if an offer follows with that. What do you make of where Illinois stands and how to handicap this race right now, which is probably going to conclude in 2 or 3 weeks?
Yeah, the last thing that Mark said was he wants to sign, they're in that April signing period there, and which starts April 12th, I think it is. So, wants to take a few visits. He's been on a few already, and, we know he's been to Illinois a couple times, and he met with Coach Underwood. And so I think Illinois is in good position. I really think, at the end of the day, he wants to, he's always, he's been an Illini fan. I mean, we know that. He's said that. And now you've got a kid who, could come in and play. I mean, he's going to play at Illinois. I mean, right away. Maybe that's not true at Kentucky, but then the other side of it is, a school that kind of would scare me is probably Michigan State.
Yeah.
Just because, it's Tom Izzo, it's Michigan State, and their front court is loaded, but there's some available playing time in the backcourt. So, I mean, that could be a little bit of a selling point. Now, I think there's more playing time in Illinois, and probably he knows the guys at Illinois a lot better, all the other players and the guys he's played against and with. So that's a positive for Illinois. But, you can't really sleep on the other schools, whether it's Ohio State or Butler or Michigan State or anytime Kentucky offers, that scares everybody. So if that happens, but I just don't. They already have, I think, 4 top 50 perimeter players coming in. Not to mention whoever comes back. So they're pretty stacked. So it's I don't know how serious they are, or and maybe they're waiting to see who goes pro and who stays. So we'll see what happens.
Brett, is it too much to say? Is it overstating it that we'll learn a little bit about Brad Underwood's closing abilities with Mark Smith, even though he's really only known him probably for about a week?
Well, I think in a positive, if he does get him, that's a huge positive.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, I don't think it's a real negative. I mean, he hasn't known the kid, for a couple weeks. But obviously, if he gets him, I think you got to say, well, that's a pretty big, great sales job. So you got to be pretty happy about that if he is able to land him. So I don't know if we'll learn anything definitive until we get the 2018 and 19 classes in there. And the thing about Illinois is the good thing, if you add a Mark Smith and you add another, they're looking for another maybe a combo forward type, then you bring in those guys. You're really, you can really hit that 2018 class, pick 1 or 2 guys you want, and 2019 pick, a few guys, because you're not going to have any seniors next year.
Right.
So it's kind of a 2-year cycle here you're going through. So everything's kind of, if you can get Smith and the other guy and another guy, then you're in pretty good shape for 2 years.
That's funny. I was actually going through that today about saying, you know what, there's not going to be any seniors next year here at Illinois. You can follow Brad on Twitter at Sturdy32. Let's talk about that St. Louis metro area. Travis Ford made some hay there when he reeled in our guy, Goodwin.
Raised a few eyebrows.
Yes,
huh?
he did. And now Conzo to rolling into town, sniffing around. I mean, what is the presence of those two going to do for St. Louis, for Illinois? And, of course, Jamal Walker's done a great job down there. I mean, that's going to be a dogfight going forward.
Oh, no question. I mean, it's going to be a much more heavily recruited area with guys like Conzo and with Travis Ford. And, I think Missouri offered another kid, Torrance Watson, who had played with Gordon and Ramey on the same AAU team. So you're talking about another kid from that area that they've offered. And so you see that, Missouri's going to be strong in that area. SLU is obviously going to be strong. Travis Ford's already got Gordon and Goodwin. So, Jamal Walker's got a great relationship with those kids down there and, in those upcoming classes. So I think there's obviously going to be a great competition, though. It's going to be like Chicago a little bit, that you got to go and win those recruiting battles. And, these metro areas, whether it's St. Louis or Chicago or Indianapolis, you're going to have to compete to get those guys. And you're going to have to compete with those local programs. Over the years, Illinois has had some positives and some negatives. And I always say this, it's not really about the guys you get or don't get. It's about the guys you do get. So they just hope they can get enough guys to be an elite program in the Big Ten.
Well, Brad Underwood has hit the ground running, obviously, with these recruits. He gets it done with Jamal Walker, but now he's got to fill a couple of more spots, and he's going to do that at the Final Four, Brad, out in Phoenix. He's there already. Have you heard any assistant names being thrown out there at this point?
There's a lot of names that have been thrown around. I don't know how many of them, are legitimate and how many of them are guys, posturing for jobs and things like that. It's one of those things, I would guess that Coach Underwood probably has gotten, 50 contacts from former Illini who either want to be on the staff or know the perfect guy for the staff. They always know the guy. So, I think that's pretty normal. So I think there's some push to do that, but I think he's going to have his administrative staff. He already got one of them, so I think he'll get a couple more and be on his administrative staff, and then he'll add those 2 assistant coaches after the Final Four.
He's Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Recruiting Chicago is always a hot topic, Brad, and we had Paul Klee on earlier, and he said, don't worry about Chicago. Go get players, win games, and then Chicago will come to you. You obviously have to recruit Chicago. There's some good players up there, but it is a down cycle. We see Billy Gillespie go get Texas guys. Some of the best players on this roster are out-of-state guys.
Right.
What do you think is the best way to approach how to get players and where to get them?
Well, I mean, obviously, you find guys that you have a relationship, find the kids that you want and can get, and then you go after them. And then, if they're from Chicago, great. If they're from St. Louis, great. If they're from Indianapolis, great. And you got to be able to have that connection, though, and be able to build those inroads and so forth. If they can do that, then obviously that's going to be great. If they're from Chicago, great. I mean, obviously, in 2018, they're looking at IO and would love to add him to the class, but there aren't a lot of elite prospects in that 2018 class in Chicago. So there's more downstate kids in 2018, 2019, to be honest. So I think it'll be interesting to see what he does. I think you have to recruit Chicago, but the most important thing is you have to get the players. And if they're from Indianapolis, like Jalen Coleman-Lance, or Memphis, like LaRon Black, or wherever they're from, then you got to go get Trent Frazier from Florida. Obviously, you got to go get the guys that fit your system that can play. And if they're from Chicago, wonderful. If they're not, then so be it.
What do you think is important for this assistant coaching guys, whoever they are? What's the most important factors for them?
Well, I think they obviously Jamal's a tremendous assistant coach. Whether it be not just coaching or not just recruiting, but also coaching, he does a phenomenal job. And so I think Coach Underwood's looking for guys who are the whole package. He wants guys who have recruiting, maybe to an area that they're not as in deep with. And it could be Chicago. It could be Texas. It could be Florida. You may find guys who have connections there, where there's other talent where they can bring guys in and players from those areas. But also you want guys who know how to coach your system, know how to coach the way you want them to coach. And I think that's what he's looking for. He's looking for guys who are the whole package, not just a recruiter or not just a X and O guy, but guys who can do both.
Who benefits the most on this current roster in Brad Underwood's system?
That's interesting. I really, it's interesting. We were talking about this the other day with some people, and I came up with, there are a few guys. I think you're going to see, I think you could see Jalen Coleman-Lance do much better.
Yeah. Just
because you look at the way Underwood has used shooters and how much he values the three-point shot and so forth. So I think Jalen Coleman-Lance could become, once he learns shot selection and taking the right shot, I think he's a guy who could really develop under this system. And the other guy, I think Finke too, because I think Finke could get a lot of positives out of it. And I know he maybe isn't the typical guy you see in the front court from Underwood, but I also think he could be very effective, being able to space the floor and with his passing ability from the high post, the way they run things there. And the third guy would be Kipper Nichols. I mean, I think Kipper Nichols is the prototypical undersized four for this system. A guy who can put it on the floor, deck it, rebound, defend all four positions, and that's what he's going to want, guys who can get out and move their feet and put pressure on defense.
Brad, did that shock you about Ed Morrow transferring out of Nebraska? Where do you think a guy like that lands?
I don't know. It's interesting. He's a talented kid. I mean, obviously it's a huge loss for Nebraska because when he played, they were much better, and when he didn't play, they weren't as good. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. Obviously we'll probably won't be a Big Ten school, so it'll be interesting to see where he ends up. I'm sure that he already has a pretty good idea where he wants to go. Usually guys, if they're going to leave, they know what they want to do or where they want to go. And it's surprising to me just because of, how important he was to Nebraska, and he knew he was going to play, and then also the fact that, his parents went to Nebraska, so there's that connection there.
Yeah, Tim Miles in trouble. I'd be worried about Glenn Watson right now if I were him. Brad Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com. Always appreciate the time, Brad.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys.
Thanks, buddy.
Good stuff with Brad. Squeezing in us during his busy softball season.
That is nice because they're in the middle of all that right now, aren't they?
Yeah.
And they win at a high level.
Yeah, Brad's a good coach.
He is.
Coming up next hour, we'll talk with Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman. He's been covering Russell Westbrook's phenomenal year.
That's awesome.
And he works with the Oklahoman, so he'll know a little bit about Brad Underwood and the reaction out there about him leaving for Illinois.
Drive Time's next. Tay and J Show.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. When you work with GTPS, you'll never have to call an 800 number in a different state. You deal with people who live and work in our community and know it's important to your business. GTPS is your local source for business insurance, property, general liability, workers' compensation, and group health insurance, and they'll work with you to formulate the best package for the needs of you and your business. Contact a GTPS insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air. They all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111. Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Congressman Adam Schiff has after the White House invited the heads of the House and Senate Intelligence Committees to view information relating to their investigations into Russia's role in the presidential election. This after the House Intelligence Committee Chairman Devin Nunes says he was given material to back up the president's claim that his transition team was caught up in surveillance of foreign entities.
One of the questions I asked the White House in my responsive letter is, are these the same materials?
The ranking Democrat on the House committee also asks why the materials weren't presented in a more transparent way. The first Democrats are coming out in support of Judge Neil Gorsuch for the U.S. Supreme Court. Senator Heidi Heitkamp of North Dakota says she's convinced Judge Gorsuch will make independent judicial decisions according to the law and the Constitution. Senator Joe Manchin of West Virginia also says he will vote to confirm Judge Gorsuch. A law that cost North Carolina a lot of business is rolled back. Fox's Gernal Scott has a live report.
Kathleen, lawmakers hope the repeal of House Bill 2 will mean that companies and sports leagues will again consider North Carolina to do business in. But Democratic Governor Roy Cooper says despite the compromise that rolled back the law, it still doesn't go far enough. What he wanted was
complete, total repeal. And whenever I get a chance to do that, I'm going to do it. But this is also an important step.
Well, there has been no comment so far from the NCAA. Gay rights advocacy groups in North Carolina say the so-called repeal falls short of full protections for the LGBT community, Kathleen.
Thanks, Gernal. Stocks closed higher, the Dow climbing 69 points, S&P gaining 6 points, NASDAQ up 16. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Attention men, if you have tried or wanted to try Viagra or Cialis, or if you've ordered an over-the-counter product in the last few years, Noxitril is an option that is completely private, has received tremendous reviews, and can be at your door in just days. Pharmaceutical companies dislike us because we present a real option to their higher prices and insurance limitations. After years of research, Noxitril has been developed and formulated in U.S. FDA labs, packed with the highest quality potent ingredients. Noxitril is a true breakthrough in male potency. This remarkable all-natural pill is being called Viagra on steroids and is known as a sure winner. So what are you waiting for? Call now and ask how to get your free supply.
Call now and find out how to get a free bottle of Noxitril while supplies last. Call 1-800-993-0950. That's 800-993-0950. Free bottles for a limited time, so call now. 800-993-0950. 800-993-0950.
Republicans are still struggling to find a way to improve health care.
Speaker Paul Ryan drew attention for saying in an interview with CBS that he didn't want President Trump to work with Democrats on health care. Ryan later explained at a news conference what he meant.
If we're going to do what we said we would do, which is repeal and replace Obamacare and save the American health care system, Something tells me the Democrats aren't going to help us repeal Obamacare. They're the ones who created it in the first place.
House Democratic leader Nancy Pelosi said the repeal effort has had an impact on the credibility of Republicans.
Not only showed that they were going to lose on their vote, but it showed that they did not share the values of the American people. And that it not only hurt their chances of passing a bill, it hurt their reputation.
On Capitol Hill, Mike Emanuel, Fox News.
The search for a missing former federal judge is intensifying. 91-year-old Edwin Kozik went missing from his home in Pennsylvania Tuesday night. He suffers from memory loss. Authorities haven't ruled out foul play. Kozik spent more than 30 years on the federal bench and stopped hearing cases recently due to health issues. One state takes another stab at discontinuing a controversial method of catching traffic violators.
The Texas State Senate has voted to ban red light cameras for the third time in the last few years. The previous two bills have failed to pass the House. Supporters of red light cameras say they improve safety and prevent crashes. Opponents say they are simply a way for cities to make more money and invade privacy. The Texas State Senate also passed a bill Wednesday barring state and local governments from blocking vehicle registrations for people who haven't paid tickets from red light cameras. Ray Bogan, Fox News.
Crayola is putting one of its colors out to pasture. Dandelion is being removed from its crayon boxes to make way for a new color, which will be announced tomorrow on National Crayon Day. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
Get out of here, roaches.
I'm learning.
These interns, man.
I think I'm getting dumber.
This is an interesting group of interns. Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast brought to you by Chief Bauer.
This is the most friendly of that, and what I mean is they think that we're actually friends with them. The rest of the interns, they just kind of knew their place.
We need to make them work more, man.
I know.
We need to give them more duties.
They think we're buddies in here, and I'm like, guys, we don't like you.
Trust the experts at Chief Bauer Service Experts to keep you comfortable all year long. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit them online at chiefbauer.com. Thunderstorms continue occasionally until 11 o'clock tonight. Cools off tonight, a low of 43. Tomorrow, overcast, cold, high 45, a low of 33. Saturday warms up, mostly sunny, high 59, a low of 40, 60s. The next couple days after that, though. Right now, rain, thunderstorms throughout the area, 56 in Champaign-Urbana. It is drive time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com. Well, I'll tell you, this will recap the first 2 hours of the Tay and J Show.
We talked a lot of different stuff. I don't even know where to begin.
A lot of little things going on.
We did. Let's start with this. John Heyman, is that how you say his name? Came out with an article saying that the St. Louis Cardinals could be a sleeper team in a deal with Jose Quintana from the Chicago White Sox.
He has been, by wins above replacement, one of the top 8 pitchers of the last 4 years. So Cardinals fans, he's really good.
I'm going to admit.
He's better than anyone you have.
Yes.
And I love Carlos Martinez.
No, I get it. But he's better than that.
He's more consistent than anybody.
And today, I actually allowed myself for about 5 seconds to sit there and think, all right, him in that lineup, in that rotation, I like this idea. Yeah. Who could the Cardinals give up? Well, it's going to take a lot, and it's not Colton Wong and Matt Adams and Lance Lynn.
Right.
I mean, that's
I don't want your garbage.
Right.
You know, your fringe, they're not fringe guys. They're major leaguers.
They're playing right now. That's not what the Sox
want. No, the Sox want prospects, and I doubt the Cardinals will do this.
No.
Right?
No.
I doubt they'll do what it takes to get Jose Quintana. It'd be not Mo's MO.
No, it's
not. So I think, Lon, you gave a great offer. And it's kind of the offer I was thinking of, which would be Carson Kelly would lead it.
Yep.
And if Yachty signs an extension, it's like, where does Carson Kelly play? I don't know. Should you do the Yachty Molina extension?
It's a good debate.
If he wasn't a fan favorite, would Yachty Molina get the extension?
I don't think so. But part of me says maybe. I mean, the guy, he was unbelievable last year. Yeah. The second half of the season, he was probably the best offensive catcher in the game.
And you want to compete now.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to deal with Carson Kelly bumps along the way, but at some point you feel like you got to play that guy or cash that chip in.
You know what, Jeremy? I know what I have in Yachty Molina.
Yeah.
I don't know yet what I have in Carson Kelly. Now, I'll take the advice of all these people that know a lot better than I that say he's this good and he will be this good. I know what the Cardinals have in Yadi Molina, and Yadi has never lied to that team, and he tells them he's still got a lot in the tank.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Now, realistically, I'd probably like to see Carson Kelly as my starting catcher in about a year and a half or 2 years.
That means Yadi's sitting on a bench.
Oh, wow. And I just can't see that.
So Carson Kelly would be a great start.
Yes.
Then you put in Luke Weaver, who I think can be 3, 4, 5 starter for the White Sox. Even though they have a lot of pitching, I think Luke Weaver is more of a given. And I think there's a lot of bullpen arms they have.
I agree.
I think they're going to have a great bullpen in a few years, but still could use some starting pitching depth. And then you threw in
Harrison Bader,
which they need outfield prospects.
Yeah.
He fits. Seems like a starter at some point. And then you got to throw in a high ceiling guy at some point. Just kind of a lottery ticket.
A little guy, yeah.
Yeah, who's probably lower on the prospect list, but you throw in another guy. And I think that'd be very fair, given Quintana how good he is, and given that contract. That's the other part. You said it. Mike Leake makes a lot of money. Over the next 4 years, Jose Quintana makes half that.
Unbelievable.
And he's one of the top 10 pitchers in baseball statistically.
I wish you wouldn't have gotten me thinking about this, because now I want Jose Quintana, and before I hadn't even thought of it.
He's good. We also talked about Ed Morrow transferring out of Nebraska.
Wow.
I'd be really worried, and I mean this seriously, about going to Watson now.
No doubt.
Because Ed Morrow is a winner. He wants to win. His parents are from Nebraska. He doesn't think he can win at Nebraska.
Okay.
And if Glenn Watson follows suit, which I think is a real possibility, then Tim Miles is in real trouble. He was already in trouble.
Yes.
I think he had one of the worst rosters in the Big Ten. Now he definitely has one of the worst rosters in the Big Ten, and at some point you got to win.
Yeah,
as likable as he is, they've invested a lot of money and resources into the facilities there, but I think it's showing you that's still a bad job.
I agree 100%. And Ed Morrow, that dude can rebound. And you know me and rebounding. I like rebounding. When Ed Morrow was being recruited, I pictured him as a Dayton guy. Watch him go to Dayton.
Yeah.
Watch him just go to Dayton. And, of course, they have a new coach right now with regards to Anthony Grant.
Yeah, but Ed Morrow probably not going to go to Illinois.
No.
He'll probably be blocked within the Big Ten. That's usually how those things work.
That
but
stinks.
Dayton does have a new coach in Anthony Grant, so Illinois State fans, you can sigh. Dan Mueller, reportedly a serious candidate. That's what Jeff Goodman of ESPN said. And John Gross, reportedly, was a guy that was getting some traction there as well. So neither of those guys go there. So Dan Mueller, how long for normal do you think he is?
I think now it depends on how his teams do. I think this year would have been a good time for him to jump. They had a great season. They didn't make the tournament, but he made headlines throughout the country with that Illinois State team. Now you lose some good guys, but we had I can't think of his name. All of a sudden, from over there in that area, had the other day that thinks this team's going to be Jim Benson. I'm sorry, Jim. That they're going to be good again next year. So I think Mueller is one of these guys. Eventually, Illinois State, you're going to lose him.
Well,
don't take that as a bad thing.
And part of it's the Missouri Valley.
Absolutely,
it was Wichita State. It's going to be very difficult. You got to win. You got to win the conference tournament.
That's all you're going to do. It's going back to when I was in school there that the only way you made the tournament is if you won 3 games in St. Louis.
And John Gross, where does he end up? I mean, the Akron job is open. He would make sense there, but the Miami job was filled. Dayton is filled. He could be a great assistant for somebody.
Agree.
And Archie Miller and John Gross know each other well. So it'd be interesting to see John Gross on the other bench coaching for Indiana.
You said it.
No, I don't know anything. I'm just speculating. That's just all speculation.
But boy, it would make a lot of sense. He's from Indiana. We saw Rob Judson there last year. Now all of a sudden to look over and see John Gross would be interesting. But hey, guys got to get a job.
Yep.
So he'll look and see, and that would be certainly a great landing spot for him.
Brad Underwood got a reaffirmation of a commitment from Javon Pickett today, so it seems like he'll keep that top 10 recruiting class together. The next thing is getting some assistant coaches, and he's out at the Final Four, meeting with a lot of these coaches. I'm sure over the next week we'll hear who his hires are. But he did add Joey Biggs, who is a director of basketball operations, spent the last 10 years at Oklahoma State, one under Brad Underwood. I expect him to add 2 more support staffers here quickly. Stephen Gentry, who's an assistant for him at Stephen F. Austin, is the director of player development down at Oklahoma State. Basically the special assistant head coach, right? The special to the head coach or whatever you want to call it, X's and O's kind of guy. And then Patrick Schulte, who's a video coordinator, I expect him to join. So that's a support staff.
Okay.
And then you have Jamal Walker's the one assistant so far, and then you got to go find 2 more assistants. But a big topic is, I asked Paul Klee earlier in the show, who covered this team for a while with Weber, and John Gross, and obviously saw those staffs struggle.
Right.
So I asked Paul Klee what they could learn from those staffs, so Underwood can learn from the past staffs, and recruiting Chicago is a big part of that, and Paul had some interesting things to say about that.
Illinois should stop worrying about Chicago. Chicago is the problem more than it's the solution. Go get your guys elsewhere, build it up, and then make them come to you. They waste way too much time in Chicago. There's some good players up there. Let me tell you the best attribute of this hire so far. Chicago talent is down. That's a good thing for Brett Underwood.
Right.
Go elsewhere and look elsewhere. Do not hire your staff based on what's going to get you in the door at Simeon. Go get guys that you can work with, that you trust, and build a program that's going to last. That's what John Beeline's done. I remember year 3, maybe year 2, year 3, year 4, Michigan fans were ready to rush him out the door with flames and pitchforks. Well, now they have one of the best coaches in America. So that's my hope for Brett Underwood.
I'm glad Paul brought that name up, because when he got hired, I said, I hope they have their John Beeline.
Yeah, you said that from the beginning.
And part of that is being confident in who you are, what your system is, and finding the right players no matter where they're from. Now, I don't know if you just ignore Chicago.
Right.
I don't think you do that. But I think what Paul is saying is you can't just sit there and go, we got to do everything to get the kids in Chicago. No, you go get the best players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Io DeSumo's one of them.
Yep.
Is there anybody else up there?
No.
Yeah, you get relationships. You got to build some relationships with those guys, but you can't waste all your time on that city.
The good news is, by the time Chicago rolls back around with talent, Underwood's going to have a year or two under his belt here to be able to show them kind of what style he plays and to make some connections on his own.
And win games. We talked with Robert Smith from Simeon the other day. Wins are bigger than anything.
It's huge.
I mean, that's the most important thing you can do in recruiting is win basketball games.
Without a doubt.
That's Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW Champaign. For new and used vehicles, visit their huge inventory at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit them online at drivechampaign.com.
All right, Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman, used to cover Illinois. He was here, in fact, the 04-05, that special season. He joins us next here on the Tay and J Show. Hey, if you're looking to build, buy, or refinance, partner with Busey. Their in-house mortgage expertise and participation in a wide range of programs mean your home loan is tailored to your needs. With 35 special mortgage programs, Busey can help you find the one that fits your needs. They've got traditional financing options that include fixed and adjustable rate mortgages, construction and lot loans, also investment properties, and they provide simplified home financing. Their lending professionals take the time to get to know you and your needs. And if you want to apply online, you can do that at your own pace. It takes about 20 minutes on BuseyMortgage.com. With free pre-qualifications, you can also shop for your home knowing all of those options. Are you ready to take that next step? We'll partner with Busey for the resources to turn your dream of home ownership into reality. Call 1-800-67-BUSEY and ask which special mortgage loan program is right for you. You can visit them online at BuseyMortgage.com.
VersaBar, a world leader in the development of heavy lifting solutions, is a proud sponsor of the Mike Ditka Show. VersaBar is also a proud supporter of the University of Illinois and the College of Civil and Environmental Engineering, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Unity Rockets. To learn more about VersaBar, just go to www.vbar.com. That's www.vbar.com. VersaBar, the power of engineering delivered. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years we've been providing worry-free home improvements. If you've thought about either siding, windows, maybe you need to replace that roof, How about a deck, a pergola, awnings? We also have the 4-season sunrooms and screen rooms, or the gutter helmet. If any of those home improvements are in your near future, call us right now at Kramer Siding or stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
You know you need to do it, and you know you should do it at least twice a year. You owe it to yourself. I'm talking about a checkup at West Main Dental in Urbana. When was the last time you visited the dentist? If you can't remember, or you're in need of a new dentistry team, West Main Dental is where you should go. Our team at West Main Dental is waiting to see you. Come in and be catered by a professional staff that includes Dr. Janet Bardell, a University of Illinois and Southern Illinois University graduate. West Main Dental offers the highest level of dental care in a warm and comforting environment. From a simple quick checkup to providing you with an at-home teeth whitening kit or orthodontic services, trust the professionals at West Main Dental. Visit West Main Dental in downtown Urbana on Main Street, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292. Trust me, you won't be able to stop smiling with a set of healthy, sparkling white teeth thanks to the work of West Main Dental. West Main Dental, online at westmaindental.com, or call 607-1292 to schedule an appointment today.
It's warming up around Champaign, and that means it's time to get outside and ride in a Polaris off-road vehicle. And the best time to buy is during the Polaris Spring Sales event. You'll find great financing plus rebates up to $2,000. You'll even get a free 2-year extended warranty on any full-size Ranger or any Sportsman 450 or 570 ATV. See your Polaris dealer now. Offers valid through April and vary by model. No charge for promotional 2-year extended warranty. See dealer for details. Off-road vehicles can be hazardous to operate. Always wear a helmet and take a safety training course.
Are you looking for a new home or planning to refinance your existing home? Hi, this is Todd Durakan from First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana, getting you and your home faster with loan closings in 30 days, mortgage loans, and refinancing that's fast, friendly, and local. We invite you to visit our experienced team of mortgage experts to find out how First Federal Savings Bank can help you with your loan closing in 30 days. For more information, visit 356bank.com. First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. Get what you want out of life. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Live the Champaign life in Campustown. Twice a year, the doors to Memorial Stadium open for the most dedicated, loyal, and thrifty Illini fans. Full of team-issued and team-worn apparel. With tons of Fighting Illini deals and steals, this is a stadium sale you can't miss. Stop by Memorial Stadium April 1st between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. to get your gear before it's gone. Everything up to 80% off. Last chance. Once it's gone, it's gone. Game Day Spirit is a proud member of the Champaign Center Partnership.
When you live the Champaign life.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey, weekday morning 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
5:20. I'm Jeremy Warner with your Sports Center update, brought to you by First Federal Savings Bank of Champaign-Urbana. You get what you want out of life. It looks as if Illinois basketball coach Brad Underwood will keep together the Illini's top 10 recruiting class. The latest to reaffirm his commitment is Javon Pickett out of Belleville East. Peoria Manual guard DeMonte Williams did that yesterday. Trent Frazier, top 100 point guard out of Florida, did it last week.
Nice.
No tweets or Instagram posts yet from Jeremiah Tillman.
Oh, Lord, we're losing him.
But all word is he is expected to stay at Illinois.
Okay.
Underwood hopes to add to the class, but top target Mark Smith continues to receive more interest. Michigan State offered last week. Kentucky will visit him next week.
Is it time for me to call Mark?
Underwood continues to look for his assistants. He's at the Final Four, but he will add Joey Biggs to his support staff. Biggs spent the previous 10 years as the director of basketball operations at Oklahoma State. Illini women's coach Nancy Fay will keep 2 assistants from Matt Bolant's staff, LaKale Malone and Tiana Kirkland, and then she'll add Steve Cochran to her staff. He spent a lot of time with her at Washington University.
We just met him.
Former Illini coach John Gross and Illinois State coach Dan Mueller reportedly were candidates at Dayton, but the Flyers announced they have hired former VCU and Alabama coach Anthony Grant. Okay. Nebraska ball took a big hit last night. Ed Morrow announcing he will transfer. Chicago Simeon product averaged 9.5 points, 7.5 rebounds as a sophomore. Cornhuskers went 1-7 during Big Ten play when Morrow was out with an injury. Illinois volleyball coach Chris Thomas got his first commitment last night, and it's a big one. Class of 2019 middle blocker Ellie Holzman committed to the Illini. She was Max Prep's National Sophomore Volleyball Player of the Year.
That's nice.
Out of New Orleans. Trevor Rosenthal will start the season on the 10-day disabled list with lat soreness. John Heyman of FanRag Sports reports the Cardinals have quietly showed interest in White Sox starter Jose Quintana.
Hey, Mark. Lonte, how you doing, man? Yeah, I'm doing great. Yep. Kids are great. Appreciate it. Heard you had a great season down in Edwardsville. Yeah, you were filling it up down there. So where are you at right now? I mean, is it Illinois? Awesome. All right. I'll report that tomorrow on the Tay and J Show. Thanks, Mark. Done.
Is that just like your sturdy hitting a home run a sturdy dream?
I was actually on my cell phone with Mark Smith right there, and he said he's going to announce tomorrow, Illinois.
That's a scoop line if you got it.
Can you imagine if he did? I'd be like, oh, I didn't know that.
It's amazing how interested we are in 18-year-olds' decisions.
That's the truth. What's amazing to me is that this kid, who really a lot of teams didn't even know anything about, could be your biggest recruit if he ends up coming in this class.
Yeah. Well, let's get to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line.
Unreal.
And I'll talk with Brett Dawson of the Oklahoma. He's covering Russell Westbrook.
I know him.
But I bet you really miss covering recruiting, Brett.
Covering what now?
Recruiting.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, no.
I don't remember that.
I know what he misses spring football practice, right?
Oh, yeah. You guys are just throwing all the hits at me.
Oh, wait.
Basketball recruiting, spring football, woo.
Let me throw one more at you.
Uh-oh.
The other day I heard you met somebody that was a big recruit at Illinois, and he came out and like sought you out to discuss something.
Well, yeah, Eric Gordon. He and I go way back to his high school days, my Champaign days, and I covered him last year in New Orleans when I was covering the Pelicans, and he was playing for the Pelicans. So yeah, that's it's sort of a weird connection over time with Eric Gordon because we know each other going back to that stuff, and he remembered kind of that time when I was talking to him a lot, and then covered him for a year in New Orleans, and then we both left New Orleans at the same time.
That's right.
And both moved on to better situations. So, yeah, it's a strange connection I have to that guy.
Look at little Brett Dawson. He's friends with Eric Gordon. Everybody turn off your radio now. No, I'm kidding, Brett. I think that's really cool.
Settle down there, Tay.
Okay, I'll settle
down. All
down.
right, Brett, you've covered Final Fours, title games, Anthony Davis. But where's this year covering Russell Westbrook rank for you?
Well, he's the best player I've ever covered, having the best season I've ever covered. There's no question about that. I mean, it's remarkable. What he did this week in Dallas and Orlando, and those are not good teams, but the Thunder didn't play particularly well for three quarters, a little bit lost offensively, a little bit slow defensively, down double digits in both those games, down 21 in the second half to Orlando, down 13 with 3 minutes to go against Dallas. For a guy to single-handedly win one of those games one time in an NBA season should be impossible. And he did it twice in 3 days.
Wow.
It's unbelievable in the real sense of that word. Like sometimes, I told somebody last night, sometimes I just think he's some sort of like life simulation that like somebody's figured out. Like I don't really believe this is happening sometimes because it's unfathomable some of the things he does. He pulls up and hits a contested, he's double teamed and hits a 31-footer to tie the game, and you just sort of expected it to go in.
Does he have a weakness, Brett?
He'll turn the ball over too much. He's a little over-aggressive sometimes. He's a jerk to the media. Is that a weakness?
Yep, for sure.
Does that count?
Yep.
But on the court, very, very few of them. He's not a great defender, and he expends so much of his energy at the offensive end. But he can lock down defensively when he has to. They do it as a team a lot in these late-game situations. He's having the best late-game season arguably ever. I mean, he's scored more points in the last 5 minutes of fourth quarters this year than anybody in the NBA over the last 20 years. He's got, I think he's got 10 more points than anybody in clutch situations this year. And the guy in second place is Isaiah Thomas, who's played like 20 more minutes in those situations than he has. He's having an unbelievable year.
I know we're going to talk to you a little bit about this MVP race that obviously includes Russell Westbrook, but you mentioned the fact he's a jerk to the media. What is that like? I think the last time you were on, we kind of asked you about building relationships and what that's like compared, obviously so much different than college, but how do you go about kind of building a trust, if you will, with a guy like Russell Westbrook?
Yeah, it's funny because when I say he's a jerk, I'm kind of joking. He's a challenge. There's no question. And we have had some really good moments and some really difficult moments. He's been mad at my questions. He's been mad at everybody's questions. There's nobody who's covered more than a game or two who he hasn't gotten upset with something because you got to ask difficult questions sometimes, and he's not always going to take them well. He can take them personally, sometimes he just thinks your questions are dumb, and he's not above just saying that. He'll just tell you that he thinks it's a bad question. So I think, the thing is you figure out a little bit how to work with him. You understand. Like, there are some days where if I don't have something really pressing, you can usually tell within a minute, a question or two, what kind of day he's going to have, whether it's going to be a day where he's kind of willing to play along and have some fun with some questions. And if he's not, you're just going to lay off and ask the basic stuff and get out. We kind of call that, it's like punting. We have punting days on Russ. It's just like today I'm going to punt. I'm not going to ask anything.
Yep.
I'll save my stuff for a later time because he's up and down, and there are nights when he can be so engaging and really genuinely funny. And I think that's what his personality can be away from us. He is very, very protective of his personality. He doesn't really want anybody publicly to know it. Behind closed doors, people really like him. He's great in the community. He's a good teammate. I think by and large coaches enjoy him more than you might think they do because he is a guy who is, he's a guy who's like a really high-risk, high-reward guy, and those guys can frustrate coaches, but I think coaches have genuinely liked him because of the effort that he brings and all that. He just doesn't enjoy the public part of that, or the media part of it. I shouldn't say the public part of it. He likes the fashion shows. He likes the commercials that he does for Jordan Brand and whatever else he endorses, Sprite and all those things. He enjoys that part of it. He just doesn't really like interacting with us.
Brett Dawson, you knew him from the News-Gazette, now covering the NBA and one of the NBA's best players at the Oklahoman, covering the Oklahoma City Thunder. It seems like some are trying to downplay his stats, like he's stat hunting all the time, Brad, or that the rest of the team around him's bad. I mean, it doesn't matter, right? I mean, what he's doing is historic. So what do you make of people with that when they're having these MVP arguments saying, oh, well, if he were on a real team, he wouldn't be putting up these points?
Well, I mean, the team is constructed to have Kevin Durant on it. And so he's been thrown into this situation where he was supposed to have another top 5 player in the league to play with, and now he doesn't. And so by circumstance, he's doing some of this stuff that he's never done before. He didn't go out and rebound the way he is this year because they had Kevin Durant and Serge Ibaka, so he didn't need to crash the boards like this. They want him to rebound, and that's like one of the things people get all up in arms about is his uncontested rebounds. Oh, he doesn't contest shots. He just goes to get rebounds so that he can get 10 rebounds. Well, that's true, but it's not just so that he can get the average. Like, he wants to average a triple-double, don't get me wrong. And by the way, 99% of NBA players chase stats.
Yeah, sure.
I don't know if people know this or not, but it's true. He wants the double-digit rebounds, but they want him rebounding because he's both their best guy with the ball with his speed, the way he attacks, and he's their best outlet passer. So the best thing for them is for him to get his hands on the ball, and it's proven out. Offensively, they're much better when he rebounds. So they don't mind that he's doing that stuff. His usage rate is incredibly high. It's going to be the highest ever. It's going to be higher than Iverson or Kobe in their sort of record-setting usage seasons. And that just means like the number of possessions that either end with him taking a shot or committing a turnover, it's going to be the highest in the history of the NBA. But that's the way the team is constructed. And to me, look, this is the way we are. We're going to pick stuff apart because we do that. His thing is his usage rate is so high. If you want to pick on Harden, you say, look at everybody, literally ever, who's played point guard in that system. They end up having their career numbers. So you can make the argument that he's like a system quarterback in college. So you can nitpick anything you want. To me, what Harden is doing and what Westbrook is doing is cool, and I like it, and so I don't feel any real need to pick it apart.
I agree with you. Just enjoy it.
No doubt.
And the NBA's got a good product right now, but do you think it's still inevitable? I mean, the Warriors are rolling right now. The Cavs are struggling. Watching all these teams, Brad, do you still feel like it's Warriors-Cavs inevitability here?
I do, and I mean, I'm a little intrigued by the way the Cavs are playing defense. It's really bad. It's been very bad for a while now, and the Cavs have proven that they can flip the switch and get really good in the playoffs. But you wonder a little. I still am of the mind that they'll do that, but you wonder if they get to the finals if they have what it takes defensively to beat the Warriors. The other question is whether the Warriors can contend with LeBron James. They really haven't been able to in either of the last two finals, even the one that they won. So it feels very much to me like they're head and shoulders above everybody else. What Golden State just did, going to Houston and San Antonio and winning on back-to-back nights, that tells you that that's a team that's ready for the playoffs.
Yes.
They're gearing up.
Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman, we talked about this the other day. Is John Calipari underachieving at Kentucky?
Since I left, yes. It's all gone downhill. program.
Right.
When I stopped covering them, they stopped going to Final Fours. 2 years without a Final Four for Calipari, an inexcusable slump.
Those dang Elite Eights.
I know. That was asked out of sarcasm, by the way.
It's just like Bill Self. I mean, gosh, what an underachievement he's been at Kansas.
Yeah, look, it's a single elimination tournament. It's not designed to pick the best team. It's designed to be a fun 3 weeks. You determine your champion, but not your best team by having everybody get knocked out the first time they lose. So, has Calipari had enough talent to win more than one title? Yeah,
sure,
no question. You still look back, like when you watch some of his NBA guys, particularly when you look at Devin Booker, who's getting 70 points in a game, and Karl Towns, who's one of the best young big guys in the league, and you think about those two guys being on the same team, and Tyler Ulis, who's starting to play very well. Like, all those guys were on a team together, and you think, like, how did that team not win? But, again, you've only got to lose one game. They played a Wisconsin team that spent the whole year thinking about beating them because they lost to them in the Final Four the year before.
Right.
And they end up beating them in a really close game. And, Bill Self's lost some weird games. There's no question. But those guys, they're among the best. There are a handful of programs that have coaches who wouldn't trade coaches for those guys. The Dukes, the Carolinas, they've got, high-level coaches. Nobody would give up their high-level coach. Kentucky's not getting rid of Calipari. I don't think Kansas is that soured on Self. Those guys, I think most people understand, are the cream of the crop in the sport.
Now that you see NBA up so close, Brett, do you even watch college ball anymore?
I don't. I watch very little of it. It's hard to watch because, one thing, I like college basketball still. There's some things I really enjoy about it. It is a more... Like it's a more offensively and defensively diverse sport than the NBA. In the NBA, almost everybody's running the same thing. And so in college, you do have, you've got more zone teams. You've got you have like a Princeton team here and there offensively. So teams do a little bit of different stuff. But the players are so much less skilled that it is really hard to watch. And they are, controversial hot take coming here. Way worse defenders than NBA players.
Yeah.
Way worse. They foul all the time. And that stuff is, like, that level of basketball is really fun because it can be kind of competitive and different. But, like, just from a purely basketball standpoint, it does not compare.
Well, Brett, now that you're working at the Oklahoman, you can give the opinion of every Oklahoman out there.
Absolutely.
What was the reaction down there when Brad Underwood left Oklahoma State for Illinois?
Yeah, people were really disappointed. Obviously he was here for 1 year, and that's tough for anybody. If you have a coach you like, to see him leave after 1 year is really difficult. I think, I think some people put a lot of blame on Underwood. It's funny because, it felt like deja vu in a lot of ways for me just following that story, and I wasn't following it as closely, obviously, as we have two Oklahoma State beat writers, one of whom primarily handles basketball, and our columnists, and everybody was really engaged in that situation. And I was just kind of watching it from afar. But, he had said a couple of weeks before, I'm going to be here until they put me in the ground or something else happens. Well, something else happened, and he went to Illinois. But, it reminded me so much of how worked up people got about Bill Self saying I'm here for the long haul.
Right.
And then he goes to Kansas. That's what coaches say. I was dealing with a situation here with Billy Donovan where he's very careful about his words, and I had Indiana fans insisting that Billy Donovan was leaving himself an opening to go to Indiana with the way the way he phrased his quote about not being interested. And so, it was so similar to the Self thing because he was Underwood is very well liked here. He's a guy who came in and took advantage of Travis Ford had left him some pretty good players. There's no doubt one thing Travis Ford can do. He can recruit. Everybody knows that. So he had some pretty good players. Oklahoma was a little down. So he beat Oklahoma twice, and he was really fired up about that. He treated that game like it was a big thing, and people really liked that. Oklahoma State fans really care about basketball. They care about everything. Oklahoma is, the powerhouse in football and recently been better in basketball. But Oklahoma's a football school through and through. It's the thing that they care the most about by far. Whereas Oklahoma State, they care about football, but they also really love wrestling. They really love baseball. And they really, really love that basketball program. And so It's very tough for them. I think they felt like they had a guy who was going to put them in a position to contend for a while in that league. Not win it, because Kansas does that every year, but be in contention and go to the tournament every year and elevate the program, I think. And so it hurt them. I think there's some blame to go around. I think some fans definitely blame the athletic director. But people are wounded because he's a guy who I think is very exciting. And I think Illinois people should be very excited based on the little bit that I saw here.
Brett, you're covering Billy Donovan, and every time a big job comes open, people are like, oh, he's going to come back to college. And I try to tell people, like, there's 32 NBA jobs, and when you can coach somebody like Russ Westbrook, or you have a great organization like the Boston Celtics with Brad Stevens,
correct.
I don't think those guys are running back to the college game very quickly.
No, and if you look back at it, the list of guys who have been successful in the NBA and then but left for college anyway, it's basically two guys in the history of the league. Larry Brown did it one of the times that he went to college, which is, he's been back and forth a little. And Rick Pitino left the Knicks for Kentucky when they had a very good season. Now, some of that, though, I don't know the Larry Brown situation. I know the Pitino situation. There was some question about ownership and how well he got along with people. And so there were some extenuating circumstances there. The biggest misconception about Billy Donovan, and people said it so much last week. I heard it over the last 2 weeks so many times. Well, he took that job, and Kevin Durant was there, and now Kevin Durant's not there, and Russell Westbrook will be a free agent next year, and maybe he's going to leave. Like, he's not stupid. He wasn't born yesterday. The guy knew, like, somebody asked, do you think he knew that Kevin Durant could leave? Which is like saying, do you think he looked at a list of NBA free agents? Yeah, I think he did.
Sure.
I think he knew Kevin Durant could have left. He took the job because he feels like this is an organizational fit, because after 19 years in college, he decided he wanted a new challenge. This guy is not thinking about, oh, no, I don't have Kevin Durant. He's thinking about he has an organization that supports him. He's got a Hall of Fame player to coach right now and maybe going to have that guy for the duration of his career. He loves the general manager here, and that is a mutual feeling. People here feel like he's one of the best coaches in the league. He is not going anywhere except for something – something would have to change here. It's not about the college job. It's about this job changing. As long as this job is what it is to him, he's not leaving it.
Fair enough. Brett Dawson, great stuff, buddy. The Oklahoman. My youngest turns 10 April 7th, so if you could go ahead and fire me a Russell Westbrook autograph, that'd be great, Brett.
I'm sure he would be super willing to accommodate me on that request.
I'm sure, you guys are so tight.
Steal a shoelace or something?
Yeah, do something like that, if you don't mind. Just send me something and just say it was his, and that'll be fine. Brett, it's always great to catch up, my friend. Thank you so much for the knowledge.
Thank you, guys. I love coming on. Thanks for having me.
Thanks, Brett. Brett Dawson. It's great to be able to reach back and visit with guys like Brett Dawson, Paul Klee, guys you read at the News Gazette that covered a lot of really good basketball.
Doing big things now.
At Illinois, yes, they are.
Paul covering Denver sports, and obviously we talked to him about his Gonzaga Bulldogs.
Brett Dawson's loving this stuff.
I mean, it's covering the NBA. It's the best basketball in the world, and he covers a future Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Having one of the better seasons we've seen statistically.
To see him every night.
And to see it up close, these kind of athletes.
Ugh.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it would be fun. It would be fun to watch that on a nightly basis. All right, when we come back, we will wrap things up. If you want to weigh in, text line or the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line, you can do that at the same number, 217-359-2255. I'm going to tell you, though, your time is running out to sign up for Prairie View Landscaping as they continue their 25th anniversary celebration. If you sign up today, it has to be today, you sign up for a free quote and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's the key. Sign up for that today, and you do that by going to mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. If you do that today, you will be registered to win a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes, and they are going to put that in your house just in time for the Final Four if you win that TV. Prairie View Landscaping offering up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care and a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. You got to sign up by today for the TV deal. Do that by email. It's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. One more time, mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
Prairie View Landscaping is continuing their 25th anniversary celebration by giving away a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes. Email mypvdiscount@gmail.com for a free quote, and you can get up to 25% off your 2017 lawn care. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com. When you do, you'll be registered to win a 55-inch LG Smart TV from Good Vibes just in time for the Final Four. mypvdiscount@gmail.com. That's mypvdiscount@gmail.com.
This Metler tip is brought to you by Metler Center Physical Therapy.
Physical therapy is an excellent option for addressing low back pain. You don't have to resort to taking medication or having surgery. Trying out non-invasive options such as physical therapy first could be beneficial in not only reducing the pain but in identifying the cause. Poor posture, malalignment of the pelvis, or tight musculature can be at fault. Working with a physical therapist, you can correct these issues and develop a management plan specific to you.
For more information, visit online at metlercenter.com.
Twice a year, the doors to Memorial Stadium open for the most dedicated, most loyal, most thrifty Illini fans. Full of team-issued and team-worn apparel, with tons of Fighting Illini deals and steals, this is a stadium sale you can't miss. Illini Nation, you have 5 hours. One day, the biggest sale in town. Stop by Memorial Stadium April 1st between 9 a.m. and 1 p.m. to get your gear before it's gone. Everything up to 80% off. Last chance. Once it's gone, it's gone.
Hey, it's me, your old AC. We need to talk, man. I am out of hair. Trust me. It's not going to get much better. I need to be replaced. Call the experts and get a new air conditioner that will save up to 50% on energy bills. Go ahead. Do it. I'll be right here. Whew.
At Chief Bauer Service Experts, save up to $4,000 on a new home comfort system. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com. For expert service guaranteed.
Call 866-EXPERTS.
When an accident occurs, you want to ensure your car is being taken care of by the best of the best. According to industry statistics, Tim's Auto Body is among the top 10% of collision repair businesses in the country. Major car brands have been quoted as saying that they're in an elite league as best in class when it comes to a business operation. Tim's Auto Body has been recognized nationally for their consistent high level of service and meeting customers' needs. With the complexity of today's vehicles, obtaining a certified collision center from some of the top manufacturers ensures Tim's Auto Body is up to date on all of the industry standards, as well as keeping their staff educated on all of the changes in the vehicle industry. Tim's Auto Body in Champaign. Why trust the safety of your vehicle with anyone else? Visit Tim's Auto Body at 701 North Madison, Champaign, or call 607-0119. Go to timtapman.com for more details. Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
DP Dough is the original calzone company, and they cater all types and sizes of events, from office orders to private parties to entire visiting football teams. Everyone will be sure to enjoy something different than the same old sandwiches or pizza. DP Dough also delivers to nearly all of Champaign, Urbana, and Savoy until late at night. So give them a call or order online when you're hungry and no one else is delivering. With over 1 million calzones served since opening in 2006, DP Dough is sure to satisfy and fill you up. DP Dough, the original calzone company.
It's finally time to make the short drive out to Lake of the Woods Golf Course in Mahomet. We are open for the golf season. That's right, our beautiful 18-hole regulation, 9-hole par 3 course, and the new foot golf area are all open for play. As always, we are an excellent choice for your family, church, or business golf outing. Or consider a more time and budget-friendly outing on our par 3 or foot golf course. Remember, our golf shop offers competitive pricing and is one of the best stocked pro shops in the area. Come enjoy a round of golf at Lake of the Woods Golf Course today.
Holy cow! I just made the best shot that anybody's ever attempted. You can watch it on YouTube.
Juan's going to watch it now. You want to do the play-by-play?
Yeah. Not even looking at the... Oh! I love how I react without knowing, because I saw everybody else react. I didn't actually make it. It's the Tay and J Show. Lonte,
It was
Jeremy
good on
Warner.
YouTube,
I don't think I made it.
No, you
No,
did not
okay,
make it.
they all said no on that. You brought up earlier today about St. Louis, not on the air, but off the air, about St. Louis and trying to get this MLS soccer team.
Yeah, because I've seen a lot of tweets about
Mm-hmm.
it, and you reached out to our St. Louis MLS
expert,
soccer expert.
Yes, Cliff and Urbana.
Yes.
And here's what I said. What is going on with MLS and the Lou?
Yeah.
Right? Because we're tight. So he said officially, absolutely nothing. All PR work right now for Tuesday's vote on the stadium tax. If it gets approved Tuesday, you'll see it become an official announcement that it's a done deal. If it's turned down, then it's done. So they had a big rally, I guess Monday of this week. The MLS commissioner was in St. Louis pushing for this. I think it's a no-brainer. I mean, this is a community down in St. Louis that loves soccer, always has.
Yeah, Missouri, of all states.
I know.
With St. Louis and Kansas City is a huge soccer
They
city.
love soccer. So, and obviously with the Rams gone now, it would fill a void for that St. Louis community that I think has enough people in that area and that Metro East area and everywhere that they would support this thing incredibly. I think they'd sell out games all the time. So it sounds like it's going to come down to this Tuesday.
It's a big week in sports for St. Louis. You got the Cardinals starting off Sunday night.
Good call.
Up in Chicago with the Cubs, and your Blues are about to clinch the playoffs.
The Blues are really playing. Well, they did last night, right? They clinched. I
thought the Kings had to lose too.
Oh, maybe that's
and
right.
They did not lose.
Okay. Yeah,
so
'cause
I think
know the notes
it's
won.
just like 1 point. You're basically 1 point away from it.
It is kind of a big week.
You're going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and they're 11-2-1 in their last so many games. Yesterday I was laughing because you're like, wouldn't this be funny if this was the year the Blues won it?
Well, if this was the year the Blues get the Blackhawks in the first round, beat the Blackhawks, and then win the
cup.
With
That would be
everything
unbelievable.
that's happened that year.
I tell you, Jake Allen has been unbelievable. He went through about a 3 or 4 game stretch where he was horrible, getting pulled nonstop. It was unbelievable, and he's turned it around, and now he's one of the better goalies the last half of the season in hockey, if not the best. So that's the only way the Blues can win.
Right.
They have to have Jake Allen play unbelievable.
But here's the thing. Our Blues and Bulls, there's always similarities here. It's kind of like, where are they going? Which direction are they going here? What do you think the Blues will do this offseason?
The Blues do have a lot of youth still. Yeah. They still have some youth. And, of course, getting rid of Shattenkirk, they weren't going to be able to sign him. They still have too much money invested in veterans. Yeah. And that's guys like Paul Stasny, guys like that, even Alexander Steen. They just have too much money invested in them, so there's nothing they can really do.
Right.
That's what stinks. They're handcuffed.
Meanwhile, the Bulls are a game and a half behind the Pacers and the Heat for the playoffs, and I just want them to lose.
Is Butler gone?
I think you have to consider it.
Okay.
I mean, because you could have a lottery pick, but it's going to be a low lottery pick. And are you really going to get something there?
No.
If Boston will offer a big package that would include one of their top 4 pick that they will have, plus a Jaylen Brown or something like that, you have to consider it because you're so far away.
You are.
From the top of that. You have one piece. You have one great piece in Jimmy Butler. Who else long term?
Nothing.
I mean, campaign is bad. I should ask Brett Dawson about Taj Gibson and Doug McDermott because they're both playing well.
Right.
And it was totally expected. They get on a good team around good players, and they've been playing pretty well. And campaign has been back and forth between the D-League and the Bulls.
It's unreal.
So it looks like he's not even an NBA starting point guard.
I think the best thing that could happen to Chicago is that the Celtics go deep. And here's what I mean. That they get to the point where Danny Ainge kind of sits there and says, you know what? We are really close to winning this.
If we add Jimmy Butler to this team, we can beat the Cavs.
Yes. I think that's the one thing that would make Ainge speed up the process.
Because if they do win, say they get to the finals, which I don't think will happen.
No.
Then he might be less likely, maybe? Or is he more likely to trade for a Jimmy Butler?
I think if they
But
get
at some
close,
point, you got to cash in your chips, right?
I agree.
Are you going to wait for a Markelle Fultz to be great?
No.
Because that's probably going to take a couple of years.
I agree.
And by that point, the rest of your team, Al Horford's going to be older.
That's the problem.
Jay Crowder probably won't be as good. Like Isaiah Thomas, you might lose in free agency or something like that. So if you add Jimmy Butler to that roster, I don't know if they're going to beat the Cavs, but that's a legit contender, and the Cavs are only going to get older.
Yes.
And you're still a young nucleus, and Jimmy Butler's a guy you can guard with LeBron. I mean, you throw Crowder and Jimmy Butler at LeBron, I mean, he's still going to get his, but that's going to make him work for
no
him.
doubt. How old is LeBron?
Was he 30?
I mean, it seems like he should be 40.
He's probably 30.
That's unbelievable. And Kyrie?
32. That sounds
32.
About right. He's been in the league for 13 years.
That's what I mean. It seems like he ought to be 38. So LeBron is 32. Now, that is an old 32, and you know why? Because he's played a lot of games.
Yeah.
When the season ends, not one time has he been able to just take an off-season off.
Right.
He's played an additional 20-plus games.
Where do you think LeBron ranks among all-time scoring leaders?
Oh, my.
In the NBA.
All time. I mean, he's got to be
Let's have our interns guess to this.
Okay.
I want some of our interns to guess.
Are you sure you want this collection
Maybe.
of Yahoos to come on the record?
Maybe.
All right.
Let's see who gets the closest.
Okay.
Tyler Knight. Where do you think LeBron James ranks all time in scoring? Is the microphone on in there? I don't think the microphone's on.
Are
in
you
there.
talking right now? I didn't know if he was just thinking.
Flip the switch.
Is that
There you go. I thought he was just sitting there thinking, like, silence.
Where do you think, Tyler?
I'm going to say top 25.
Harry, what do you think?
Give us top 25, what
20?
number?
I'm going to say 22.
Okay.
Harry Black.
It was real daring. Top 25.
Just throwing out a...
I'm going to say...
Top 100.
I'm going to say number 7.
Okay. Daniel.
13th. Lucky number.
He's looking at a computer. You're not looking at
Jack?
it.
No. I'm going to go number 8.
Okay.
Jack Long came and stole it from Harry. He's 8th all time.
That was actually going to be my... I was
Were
actually
you
going
gonna say 8th?
Yeah, I was going to price this right over
Isn't
there.
that amazing?
8th
He's
all
32
time.
years old. He's 8th all time, and he's about to pass up Shaq. He's 23 points behind Shaquille O'Neal. Thanks, guys, for that.
Yes.
I mean, 13 didn't sound that bad.
No.
22 was a little low there.
Give me... This is a late edition.
Jeremy has got.
We started the show off with a list.
That's right.
Jeremy has got a list, because we love to go through lists just to mess with the line.
I've got an issue real quick on our interns. That stupid Nerf ball hit my phone, and it pulled up cookie jams or something.
Cookie jams?
I don't know what it was.
Did you download an app?
I don't know. I think I've got a Cookie Jams app now. It is right there. Cookie Jam.
Is that like Candy Crush or something?
Little
I think you
punks.
downloaded it yourself.
Okay, you're right. Okay, so real quick, I know Kareem's number 1.
Kareem is 1.
Can you run quickly through the top 10?
And LeBron probably will pass him at some point.
Yeah.
Give him 5-6 seasons. He'll probably
What
pass
is the difference? LeBron has scored how many?
28,573. Kareem 38,387.
Oh, yeah, he'll pass him.
Yeah.
He'll pass
I mean, he just needs to stay healthy a little bit.
So Walter Payton's number 2?
No,
I'm kidding.
Who
is
do
2?
you think is 2?
Oh man, I don't know.
This is probably your hardest one. Because, all right, name some of the other guys. Michael's 4, 32,292, and he missed 3 years.
Oscar Robertson.
Oscar Robertson is 12.
Oh, he's 12. I'm not good with this. I'm not going to
Just name some great NBA players.
Guys, you want to help me out? Help me out
Go
here.
to the interns.
I'm going. Larry Bird.
Larry Bird he missed a lot of time, remember?
Yeah, he did.
Larry's not even top 25. Magic is not. You're
Wilt
you gotta go
Chamberlain.
scores. Wilt 5.
Okay.
Carl Malone.
He
is 2.
Oh,
Carl
he's
Malone
2?
is number 2. 36,928.
Okay, we're gonna have to go quicker now because we're running out of
All right,
time.
boys, just throw some names out there.
Stockton?
No.
Pete Maravich.
No.
I don't.
Jerry
We're not
West?
very good with this, are we?
Kobe Bryant's number 3.
Oh, Kobe.
One more active
Allen
player.
Iverson.
Dirk Nowitzki.
Yes.
Dirk
Dirk is
Nowitzki.
number 6.
Good
Shaq
call.
7. Moses Malone 9. Elvin Hayes 10. Hakeem Olajuwon 11.
Okay.
Paul Pierce 16. Vince Carter 22. Carmelo Anthony 25.
Wow. That's
Carmelo's going to get up that list. He's going to finish top 10.
Isn't that amazing? Is he stuck with the Knicks for like the next
They
10
might
years?
trade him this offseason. Hey, thanks to our guest today, Paul Klee, Colorado Springs Gazette. Great stuff with him. Brad
was fun.
Sturdy, orangeandbluenews.com, and Brett Dawson, the Oklahoman. Thanks to our interns, Tyler Knight, Harry Black, Jack Long, and Daniel King.
Well done. We'll see everybody tomorrow. It is the Tay and J Show.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
The Upper Bout in Champaign, a music store with a different kind of attitude. Their showroom features high-quality brands from Gibson, Martin, and Taylor guitars to Vox, Mesa Boogie, and Analog Outfitters amplifiers. The Upper Bout's expert staff will personalize your experience, answering every question and setting up your guitar exactly the way you want it. Whether you're a lifelong musician looking to add to your collection or a lifelong music fan looking to buy your first guitar and take up lessons, The Upper Bout has you covered. Stop by The Upper Bout on Neal Street in Champaign, next to El Toro, or visit them online at theupperbout.com.
As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, Matco features exceptional protection. Matco installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access-controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. Matco's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact Matco at matcofire.com.
I'm Dr. Barry Howell, a dentist and candidate for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Every day we hear about the need to educate and train people for careers in healthcare. Parkland College is at the forefront of that effort, and I want to use my experience and background to help Parkland achieve that goal. In addition to treating thousands of patients over my career, I recently served as president of the Illinois State Dental Society, working to improve dentistry throughout the state while encouraging young students to choose a career in healthcare. As a member of the Parkland College Board of Trustees, I will work to increase student enrollment while reaching out to businesses to identify ways to meet the demands of our changing workforce. And I promise to hold the line on property taxes by finding sensible ways to save money in these challenging times. I'm Dr. Barry Howell, and I would appreciate your support on April 4th for the Parkland College Board of Trustees. Paid for by Howell for Parkland.
Our Champaign County nursing home failed a recent public health inspection. They've been fined for inadequate care. Medicare has dropped them to a 1-star rating, and over 80 beds are empty. Seniors in our community deserve better. We've given the politicians who run the home over $37 million and now have the worst-run nursing home in the county. Now they want more money but refuse to make changes. We need to take the nursing home out of the hands of politicians and put it in the hands of a responsible organization that knows how to manage care for seniors. Opponents of a sale are spreading falsehoods. If the nursing home is sold, not only will no one be kicked out, but more seniors will be helped and the quality of life will be improved for all. It's time to stop the political games and bring in professional management. On April 4th, vote no on the property tax hike and vote yes to sell the nursing home to someone who will give our seniors care they deserve. This is paid for by Save CCNH. Vote to sell.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is